that bloody music.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Keldeo Power Rankings. It's your boy, coach of the Muffin Mudkips, as well as your amazing leader. Yes, it is I, Muffin. But I'm not just by myself. As you heard the little chuckle, we are joined by three amazing people. Two of them are the owners. We have the lovely Mackie. Say hello.
What's going on, guys?
We have the very stinky Will. Say hello.
What the fuck? Wait, am I at square? Sorry.
Not in the first minute of the video, demonetized. Everything's ruined. Congratulations.
Run it back.
I wasn't expecting to be called stinky in the first second.
A well-known fact.
And then we have the fabulous.
Run it.
No, we're not running it back because we have the fabulous, good-looking, that one guy.
Thank you.
So
Good to be here.
And with that, we can now begin. So, we were the fastest division, we were the best division, and we are starting off strong with our first person being, aka the man, the myth, the legend, Derpster. So I'll read out the team for you guys. Don't worry. For those that can't see, we have Darkrai, Slowking, Galar, Infernate, Cyclozard, Said Titan, which is a Terra captain of Water, Ice, and Electric. Ooh. Klefki, Landorus T, Electrode Hisuian, my personal favorite, with Grass, Ice, and Fairy. Drifblim, and then my boy Bellybolt.
My first impression of this team is I love Terra Hisuian Electrode. I almost did it myself. Grass Electric is such an amazing typing, and being able to get Ice and Fairy in this case is such a steal.
Honestly, I would have
Electro. It's always something you want. It's like honestly one of the best Terra captains, like probably ever.
Yeah, I think excluding like Samurott, I think Voltorb Electrode got the biggest glow up in Legends Arceus.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have loved to see Terra Fire though, because I think Terra Grass, Fire, and then maybe Fairy or Ice would have actually been really cool. But you guys are completely right. I mean, Will knows how much of a threat this thing is, considering I've beaten him with it. It is probably one of my favorite. It's my favorite Pokemon in the draft. It's my favorite Pokemon to also Terra because it's just so fast. Nothing else.
I agree with you with Fire, but it doesn't have a Fairy type, so I feel like Fairy coverage is good to have.
Fairy coverage is so good. If you ever in doubt of what Terra type to use, Fairy Terra out. That was what I said.
Yeah, I mean last season I had
absolutely.
Terra Fairy in my Basket Legion, and that was really fun to give it Fairy coverage.
In terms of like how the teams are looking, there's no water type on this team, which is an interesting play. You know, usually a lot of people pick water types because, you know, bulky waters.
That's a Glow King, not a Slow King.
It's a Glow King. It's glowing.
A big one.
But then you also see Devil's Advocate. He does have Terra Water on the Titan, but I don't think that's as excusable as Fairy typing Terra on Electro.
Considering they're two of the most important types, lacking them is pretty bad. No, he has a Fairy type. He has a Klefki. He doesn't have a Fairy type.
He has a
Klefki.
It's not good. It's not.
It's such a utility mon. It's got amazing typing in Steel Fairy,
It's
but
still
it's not
a Fairy type though.
Yeah, it is. That's on me.
A fairy type, but it's not like.
But it's not going to start firing off
it's
like
still the best.
Moonblast. It's going to set up screens to probably then help Electro in the end game too, because that's what Electro's made to do. It's supposed to try and chill out till the end game and then just start taking everything down that's been chipped.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great spike settle, screen settle, status spreader, and hell, it can do some decent damage with that Fairy typing. And it's a Dragon immunity, which is never a bad thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if you look if you think about the types, he hasn't he's weak to fire, weak to water, weak to ice, and all of those stem from the fact that he doesn't have a water type, which is I just think it's such a big flaw.
Not having a water type, that's probably the biggest issue with this team.
I've seen criticism for teams where the criticism is you only have one water type, and then here Derpster is with what 0.5 of a water type, because I feel like I don't know how often what percentage of his mons do you think he's going to Terra? I think it's probably a 50-50 split between Electrode and Titan.
Kind of help. That does kind of help stymie the ice and fire weakness, because the Titan does have thick fat. I do believe, right?
I am holding the Lando T plushie. He is here, first team of the night. But and I love Lando, but he is a shell of his former self in this generation. I didn't draft him, obviously. I know I'm the Lando T person, but I'm curious to see what we can do in a post-home meta and not in Nat decks. And the only other real Volt Tawny person being, I guess Infonape gets it, but Electrode is gonna be weird because your pivots are good.
No, and then
with
you
Slow
also
King.
have you got Cyclozar as well.
Yeah,
And you
Cyclozar.
also have Belly Bolt.
Yeah.
That's on
I
me.
guess
The
like, sorry,
pivots
Belly
are much better than I was looking at initially. I was worried that Lando would be taking a lot of those pivots, but between Lando and Glow
No,
King, and even
It's a very pivot-y team.
yeah.
The only issue is though that I think he will find, especially if he versus a more offensive team, is his bulk is kind of like he can pivot, but nothing really wants to take too many hits. So like that's I think if you I think
other
against
than Glow King and Lando, but
Yeah.
he's a
Yeah, he's got
physical wall.
two tanky mon or three tanky mons.
other than that,
and it's
everything
like-
else is kind of like
Drifloom is good
And-
HP, but yeah.
I do like
When I
Infernape though.
spoke to Derpster, he was asking me about Terra types, and he was like, because Belly Bolt and Drifloom are the same amount of points, and I told him Terra Belly Bolt is much better than Terra Drifloom. He didn't listen to me. He did it anyway, and here we are.
Yeah,
But-
I would like to mention this.
I wish he did it.
So Drifloom and Cyclozar has only hazard control, which he has too, which isn't bad.
I think having a
but-
Cyclozar is pretty good because it is such a consistent.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's
you know,
one of the fastest
Great build.
spills. Yeah,
One
Like,
of
the
his better.
AV
Great
Cyclozar
build
is just a
overall.
it's just 20
AV
at home.
Cyclozar is such a reliable set.
We should probably talk about the elephant in the room, and the elephant being the big shadow dog guy that
Darkrai.
the
I was gonna-
entire server won't shut up about.
I was waiting for the Darkrai. So personally, like Darkrai for me is it's one of those mons like if you're gonna play it hacks, you're a terrible person. if you're gonna play the Hypnosis set, please just go away. But I think the fact that
I mean,
it has
if you want
not.
to run the set, if you want to,
Oh.
if you, well, no, sorry.
I was just gonna say, but we do. It does have nasty plot, 125 base speed. It's a really good Pokemon. I think the way it probably is going to be used is either it's going to come in like kind of like Electrode, kind of come in to clean up late, or start shipping things down early for something else to clean up late. I don't think it's going to be one of those mons where it can just sit on the field. Because I feel like when you're versing a Darkrai, you're going to bring a Scarf, and you're most likely bring something with a fighting move that is Scarfed.
So, also, it's kind of really has a dead ability. Bad Dreams is really cool on a mon that has more physical, more bulk in general. And like you're right, unless you're not, if you're running the Hypnosis set, are you even taking advantage of your ability?
But
like,
anything
it
else?
does not make
um,
good use of it.
So someone, I don't know who it was. Someone earlier on today said that it forces a lot of prep. I don't know who. I think it was Feathers, maybe.
I do
And
think it does though.
That was probably the most valid thing about Darkrai is that you are being forced to either have a fast Mach Punch user or whatever, or good Mach Punch user, or you're bringing a Scarf, something specifically to counter it, which I think is quite good that you're like negating such a big percentage of the team. I think that's probably the best thing about it because I think if you're a good battler, there's so many ways how to counter and stuff, but to counter it, you can't just bring a regular team. You do have to bring some AV shit, some stuff. You know what I mean?
What I don't like about Darkrai is that it can't really hit its checks. It does get Psychic, which is nice, but
That's
it
such
doesn't. It does, but if they have a good Steel type, your focus
That's
missing.
Flamethrower.
It does not get
Flank.
Flamethrower.
It does not get flamethrower.
It does not.
thought
Focus
it did.
miss
Never
is
mind.
your
I guess
only
Ice
way
Punch.
to hit Steel types. It's Ice Beam and Thunder, Sludge Bomb, and Psyshock.
But I guess
Those
that's
are
why
your top
that's why he partnered up with Infernape and Lando T to really, and I think that was a really smart idea to get those two
Yeah.
very hard hitting Pokemon. It's like, okay, you put a Steel type in front of Darkrai, cool, I'm out of here. Meet Lando T or meet Infernape because I'm done.
Yeah, I think if he can remove the steals, I think Darkrai can kind of snowball.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I am worried about Darkrai and Electrode playing the same game, but it's not too bad to have two late game special sweepers.
Especially considering 9 times out of 10, Electrode's gonna Terra. Like, it's very rare for you not to tear your Electrode if you do bring it. At least when I've used it, 9 times out of 10, I'm tearing that thing because it's just the best cleanup for it.
I mean, even if it doesn't Terra, Grass Electric is such a good typing.
And it does have access to it's like Mind Blown, but like the grass version, Chloroblast.
Chlorophyll, yeah.
Yeah,
Aura Blast.
yeah, Chloroblast. So
Chloroblast, not Chlorophyll. Sorry, I built the sun
Feel
team, my
me.
bad.
But any other comments before we continue on?
Yes. He has a Pokemon that I almost drafted myself personally, and that is Drifloom. Drifloom is such a steal at 4 points.
Oh,
No, it's not.
I'm really glad to see what he can do with that Strength Sap set. You got how much HP?
150.
150. Yeah. It's gonna.
He doesn't have a terrain set, and I felt like not having a terrain set already limits a lot of the possibilities of what.
That's why I didn't get it. Yeah, because you don't have a reliable way to aftermath. Also, Flame Boost is tragic. It's special attack and not a defensive stat.
That is true. Flare Boost would have been absolutely fantastic if it was something else, but
I thought it was special defense, but no, it's special attack. I just double checked right now.
But weirdly enough, I could actually see him running Unburden sets as well to, be faster so he can strength sap safely, or even whisk things and hex afterwards. So there are definitely many ways of going around its two abilities.
Last thing I'll say is Infonape. That thing's great because it can be physical or special, and you're not gonna know until the game has started.
Maybe a bit of both. I've seen someone run Overheat then into an Earthquake. Like I've seen. That's absolutely. And that's
amazing at being mixed.
There's a lot of cool sets that Derpster can do, and I'm very excited to see what my man pulls out.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I like it. I wish you had a water type for reasons, but other than that glaring oversight, it's pretty good.
Any other?
Yep, not too shabby.
All right, perfect. The next person that we're going to go see is, in fact, Mingo's, which, by the way, I forgot to update on the prep doc. So we have Will out on the prep doc is his own team. So if you look at the PowerPoint and want to quickly switch a few things around, I recommend so as I quickly do it now.
Oh, so it's this is the team that he has, not the team that I'm looking at. Oh, yeah. No, it just got changed.
Yeah, so I'll quickly change, but as I change it, I will also talk about it because I have seen his other team, and I have to say, though the stats to some may be underwhelming, if you look at the stats there, Mingo is a type of, I think the fact that we allowed him the first 3 picks is absolute mental. Having those first 3 picks, I'm a bit worried. Oh, Chen Pao.
Same. The first 3 months.
I love 20, even losing Defog. It's still such an amazing defensive pivot.
Still got knocked, still got U-turn, still got all that.
Yeah, just got knocked back. Yeah.
He has Zamazenta as well, my boy. The one I didn't draft because I wanted to be different. I regret everything. What else? He has. I actually run through the list. How informal of me. But Chen Pao, Zamazenta Crown, Tornadus T, Raichu Alolan, who is his Terra Captain of Electric, Grass, and Fairy. Pheasantipity, which is such a fun name to say. This is probably my favorite DLC mon to say. Brambagast, Alolomola, the Dunsparce, Avalog H, and then Clodsire. With Avalog H also being a Terra Captain of Fighting Water Rock, and the Dunsparce being a Terra Captain of Normal Fairy Poison. And Poison is there to always hit a Toxic.
Hey, Will. Want to play a game?
Go on.
Let's take a shot every single time there's a Terra that's Grass, Electric, Fairy.
You guys will be drunk in minutes.
I don't think Grass is that good. I think Grass is only.
Wait, did you say you played that game? Is that a fellow person there, Tog?
I think Grass on Raichu makes sense for ground types to really catch them off guard, because then sitting there like, okay, so you're gonna tear into a Grass. I have my Grass. Yeah.
For ground, because you're hitting ground types and you're saying what, like the water types that don't whatever and stuff. It's energy ball. A lot of electric types get energy ball, so you're getting a better Terra Blast out of it. Like you don't have to Terra for and stuff. So it's pretty good.
I'm sorry, I would stop you for a second. We talking about Grass as a Terra type?
Just more.
Yes.
For the listeners at home, we are now. Some of us are drinking, but this stream is this video is sponsored by water. Stay hydrated. Stay amazing.
I've got a bottle of water.
So do I.
I have both now, but I gotta take 2 real quick. So give me a second.
Another thing I really like that I'm terrified for, because I can't, because I spoke to him about his team and the changes. Pheasantipity with Toxic Chain. I don't know if you guys know this, but this thing gets access to not only Swords Dance, but Tail Whip as well. And Toxic Chain is a 30% chance to hit. So if maxed out... Tail Slap, sorry. Tail Slap. Tail Slap. That's fine.
I'm gonna say something even more devious.
Oh, no.
Beat up.
Yeah. Either way, that thing's just gonna sit there and just like 9 times out of 10, something's getting poisoned, and it's gonna be absolutely because it's the badly poisoned a bit. So you're taking more damage over time, which is even scarier.
I almost drafted Pheasantipity. This is a mon I really love from a design perspective, but it has 99 base speed, and I would never forget that or forgive it.
That had to nerf my boy.
Such a pro move.
Man showed up with the Articuno stat spread and was asked to leave.
But I do like how he does have a rapid spinner. He does have a way to stop opponents from rapid spinning things away with
two rapid spinners.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
With
Bramble's
Bramble's
amazing.
Definitely with support, what you need on this type of team with when you have like Champowers and Mazenta, because I feel like those are the two that are just gonna hit hard and probably break down a team or sweep a team if you're not careful.
Torn can knock you on your ass if you're not careful.
That is true with Nasty
Yeah,
Plot.
you expect an AV or a booze set, and then he comes in with a fucking
Nasty Plot
set,
Yeah.
and then you like get devoured. You forget that it gets Nasty Plot, which it's so weird.
The interesting thing with this team though is no dragon and no fire. So
I was just about to comment on the fire type. I didn't even notice the dragon.
Yeah, so that's a very, very interesting, and not even one of the Terra captains either. So I'm interested to see how that will play out.
I like to either have a fairy dragon's water, fairy steel, fairy dragon steel, or fire water grass core, and having neither is interesting to see.
There's also a very violent ground weakness.
Yes, and Earthquake is, and I guess that's also why the Terra Water and Terra Grass to try and maybe help a tiny bit.
I mean, you have an immunity, and it's a great immunity in Torn.
Yes.
But you have
most ground type users are able to also just click Stone Edge.
I'll click Stone Edge, yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, Brambo's a nice resist, but the issue is that Chain Pow is also weak to rock. So if you have Chain Pow and Zamazenta, I either click Earthquake. A Geodude can kill both of them, in theory.
I'm not gonna lie, unless like with the defense raise, at least Zamazenta can take a little bit more hit. But I feel like Chen Pound's the one that is truly gonna be the cleaner. You know, let everything else chip things down, and then just come in like with a banded set or something like that, and just sucker punch till your heart desires.
I didn't even realize they both have a fire weakness.
Yes, there's also a bit. There's a decent fire weakness there as well.
Does rock resist fire?
Yes, but Avalug's also part ice.
Yeah, so
so.
I'm trying to think it's neutral. Okay, so it's neutral at the very least. Cool. You
But
have a lot of
Avalugg-
fire neutralities, but only one resist in Mola. And I feel like Mola's gonna be tasked with a lot.
Well, got the team on the back.
Let's say that you have either Chain Pow or Zamazenta in. Let's say I have a fire type out. Or even something worse. Let's say I am Derpster and I have an Infernape out.
Yes.
What is he switching into Infernape? It's gotta be Clodsire, so I'm gonna click Earthquake.
Or Taunt Teaser bad swapping? Or Terra Water Avalugg?
Yeah,
as long as it's not a special set.
Yeah.
Because we
special
forget.
set that I click, I don't know, it's got Focus Blast for sure.
Because we gotta remember, Avalug's special defense is 36.
Oh, it's Aura Sphere? Well, I'm not clicking Focus Blast, look at Aura Sphere. Yeah, and that's just I was going in a physical scenario. And Infernape completely wrecks his team.
I think Torn, though, could probably switch into it, because Infernape doesn't outspeed Torn, I don't believe, from last time I checked.
And Clodsire.
And
Defensive Clodsire.
I feel like...
If it's special.
I feel like he definitely has...
right on Torn.
It's Cloud's physical bulk is like okay at best.
Yeah.
But I definitely he does have switching. I think this is like one of the more threatening teams. I think this team, like we talked about how Darkrai will force his players to have a lot of prep. I think this team in general, if like trying to prep for it, is you're probably gonna cry a little bit. Luckily, I don't have to fight it, so I'm happy. But I feel it's a very hard team to prep for.
At first glance,
so
I see his. Yeah, it's very offensive, but I feel like it's a paper tiger, and I don't know if that's the scenario you really want to be in.
I think
paper
I
tiger.
think.
Do you mean a glass cannon?
Yeah, same metaphor
I've
for
never
me.
heard. I know, but I've just never heard paper tiger before.
Keldeo,
There's a
Power
saber-tooth
Rankings.
tiger on the screen. I thought it was fitting.
We learn stuff. But I feel like this then comes down. I know we're ranking the teams, but I think it does come down to the player as well with this team. And I think this team for Mingo, I've seen him play. He's swept 6-0 with a Drifloom. This is his team, like all over.
Yeah, I don't know him, and I've said this before. I think it was when I was talking about Bandito's team of our teams. I said, on paper, your team is mid, but I've heard good things about you, so I'm gonna rate you a little higher. And I feel like that's how it's gonna be with Mingo, where on paper I'm kind of unimpressed, but I'm gonna take your word for it that there's more than meets the eye.
There's definitely more than meets the eye, unless you're versing Aiger, which fantastic segue to Aiger. Whoa! Wow! I'm a professional, which, by the way, this is the scariest team.
Oh, I'm safe. There's no electric grass.
So let me go through the
The pulp bundle instantly.
Let me go through the team before we freak out, because my man has 4 water types. Talk about not having enough water types.
We have some with the last two.
We have Dragon Pulse, Iron Bundle,
That's what happened.
Talonflame, Persian, Pormont, which I believe we allowed Revival Blessing, so that's annoying. Articuno OG, Reverum, which is his Terra Captain of Steel, Electric, Ground. Fione, which is another Terra Captain of Steel, Water, Fairy. The Queen herself, Grimmsnarl, Marrow, which is a funny pick. And then Slowking. Also, Articuno is another Terra Captain of Psychic, Fighting, Ground.
And it is specifically Galarian Articuno.
Galarian Articuno.
Yeah.
That. So this team, like, on paper, you're like, oh, I'll just use an electric type because look how much it hurts. And then you realize there's like 2 ground terrors, and you're like, oh, so maybe I gotta.
He has one of my favorite draft mons in Talonflame. I love Talonflame in draft. It's just such a versatile little bub.
I also think he has the nicest speed
That's
tiers.
the first thing you have to say.
Yeah. I mean, I'm ignoring the elephant in the room.
What, his beautiful speed tiers of 142, 136, 126, 115, 105,
Ooh.
95, 90, 80, 72, 60, 40, and 30. That man
How do you
cooked
prep
so
for
hard.
that?
He cooked
How
How do
so
you
hard.
prep features? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're definitely not gonna have to be fast if you want outspeed, and that means you're gonna be very squishy to the bundle Hydro pumping you. So that's what
Oh, absolutely.
There was no HP EVs going anywhere that aren't wanted.
And if you try and
Like,
Trick
very
Room, he
easily.
has Pokemon slow enough to also benefit Trick Room, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You're either so fast that you can...
Marrow, you're dead.
My man Marrow hooks.
Belly drum Marrow gonna
So
kill
Serena's
some
also
guys.
interesting with the priority control and as an extra spinner.
Yes. I'm trying to think. What learns Defog here?
Just Mr. Talonflame.
Just Talonflame, I think.
And
Oh.
Tissuina's only spinner. So like I commented last
Right.
team, 1 spinner and 1 Defago, but I think the quality of his spinner and Defago is higher. So does that.
Yeah, that works
And
out.
who?
Dubstep.
No, I think I've looked Brambleghast. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bramagast is good.
Serena's too slow for what it wants to do, so it does fall a bit short quite a lot. Having just won a league with a Serena.
I guess-
Bundle is
Bumble.
just great.
Man took
Bumble.
one
I
sip
think
because of
the
a corn.
bundle
It was 2.
Bundle pull offensive core is crazy, and then I'm assuming all 3 of those terrors are so good. All 3 of them made me
I've
poop myself.
never
Especially-
seen a Reverum used, and I'm excited.
Especially
Oh,
with
Reverum, it just gets shift gear and
I've wanted to
terror
use it for a
electrics your
while
entire
now.
team.
Shift Gear really ups that Pokemon so much, as well as the fact that Fiona has Take Heart now, making it actually more viable than Reese and Ever. I think.
I think we missed something. 7 of these mons get U-turn.
Oh, my man has ways to switch. 9 ways to Sunday. My man is switching out.
Oh my god, and he's also got Volt Switch on Palmer as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I think he also, because Revival Blessing, like if he loses something early on, just slap a sash on Pormont,
Wait.
Revival Blessing, come back in.
And he's also got Chili Reception on Slowking.
Yeah, and he has Particle on Grimmsnarl.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah,
8,
Pony
9 out of 12 months at pivot.
Which is
That's
hilarious.
crazy. Wait, does Marl get flip turns?
Is that a search I'm about to do?
I think I'm actually gonna quickly check myself because that would be hilarious.
I don't think so because I've never seen a.
No, it doesn't. It should. It
Yeah.
because Azumarill doesn't.
Azu would totally run that.
9 is wait, it's a panic shot on the Grimmsnarl.
Yep.
Oh my god.
My man is switching.
10 out of 12 months I have pivot moves.
Which
That's
is
crazy.
Which is really funny considering like 90% of his team is weak to electric, yet bringing electric type wouldn't worry him because he has 2 ground terrors. He still has an electric resist anyway in the grass type.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, like honestly this is and immunity of Volt Orb as well. Like for all his weaknesses, he has things to just easily just back it up and like, oh, I'm weak to this. Don't worry, I either have a terror or I have this.
The only thing I could see him having issues with is if someone got webs up. That might be a little problematic.
I guess
he's got like talent for defog.
Yeah.
Just get rid of that.
Which
I'm saying worst case scenario. That's the only way I could even see beginning to break down this team is if I have a webs up.
One of the best draft teams I've seen in so long. This is actually crazy.
And I don't know what we were thinking.
Absolutely.
Why did we let this man cook?
Like,
I think he overestimates how good Marl is, but other than that,
I think we're underestimating how good Marl is. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
if you watch the game if you watch the game he played this week, it got 2-hit by the person predicted the Marl coming in, and it just got 2-hit by a psychic.
I mean, granted, if it had hit Fire Blast, it would have done nothing, or even Overheat.
Yeah, I do want to make a slight tangent side note. You have probably my favorite icon I've seen in any draft. Every single time I see it, I just think, damn, that thing's awesome.
Oh, the Iron Heads logo, it's such a good it's such a good one.
Such a clean logo.
Especially considering at the end it looks like bloody Metagross's like hands, like claws thing.
No,
so like you have a hint of Metagross.
Every time I see this logo,
because it is.
Oh, I just realized it's I haven't seen it's like close up.
I love Steelix's smug face.
Yeah, Steelix's smug face when you get hit by a Hydro Pump.
Aiger on the left.
Second best logo ever after Mackie's new one.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah. Shout out,
No
Mackie.
praise.
Overall, like I think this is a team of like, hey, it might have so many weaknesses, but it's a team that regardless of its weaknesses, it will cook. It will cook every week.
I mean, we could literally just say bundle Polt and stop talking.
You mean Bundle Port and Mal? Thank you very much. Then we'll stop.
I got a question. Do you think Persian will ever come?
I think so because we didn't ban normal gen. Normal gem is allowed, right?
Yeah. Why? For what?
Because funnies.
Fake out. Chip.
Normal gen funnies.
Fake out normal gem, but it doesn't have unburden. Doesn't do anything.
It's got limbo.
It has technician, so technician fake out.
Maximum 1 week. Maximum.
It will definitely come 1 week.
Beautiful. Yeah, because he'll hear this and then he'll bring it 1 week to spite me.
I mean, it was 1 point. Like, I think it's fine.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna ask him to bring it for our battle in the last week. If he's safely in playoffs, I'm like, dude, just bring it. Let's go.
Yeah, but this is definitely the best team so far.
And we'll move on to another team that be prepared because it's gonna get very, very hot very, very soon. We have the Sun team of Brooks. Hello.
So, as a fellow Sun player this season, good luck, my friend.
His team consists
of...
of...
got the Sunmon I wanted, so I'm a little salty, a little jelly even, but I digress.
His team consists of Iron Valiant, Ogerpon Heartflame, Walking Wake, Ninetales, Dugtrio, Cresselia, Quillfish H, Victory Bell, which is a Terra Captain, of Grass, I nearly said Rock, Ground, Poison, Earthworm, Poltergeist, which is Terra Captain of Fairy, Psychic, and Ghost. And finally, my boy Third with Fighting, Normal, and Dark. Like, it's a 50-50 whether it's going to die to a close combat or, like, 2 out of 3 with its Terras. But it's Third, boys!
Yeah, it might still die to one fist fight Terra.
I might have picked Ghost, but it doesn't matter.
Interesting, like... considering he's running a Sun team, I feel like not having certain types makes sense, considering, you know, you have a Sun team, you want to maximize it. And I really like how he didn't go Torkoal. He went Ninetales for the more, for the less points, so he could add more threats, like Cresselia and all that.
This is a debate I had with myself over Ninetales and Torkoal, and eventually, deciding that I did decide to go for Torkoal because of the hazard control and the bulk and everything. But Ninetales does have one thing Torkoal wishes, and that is Baton Pass.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
With 100 base speed as well, you know, it's much easier to get the heck out of there.
That being said, I still think Torkoal is the better of the two, hence why I drafted over Ninetales. But I think the Ninetales Torkoal comparison is much better than the Politoed Pelipper comparison.
Oh, yeah.
I also
suck. Just set up for Aryan doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If it would have got flipped on, we'd be in a different conversation. But it didn't. So.
But I also think Ninetales is good here because then it left him points to get other things. I think that's like the big, like when comparing the two, you also got to think about, okay, how much do each cost and what do they end up gaining out?
It was a 3-point difference.
Which in draft 3 points is a lot to compare to what you can probably get and what you can't get.
Yeah, especially because he spent so much on Valiant.
And then you got Walking Wake and then Ogerpon also that costs a hefty amount.
I think I agree with you that Ninetales in this scenario makes sense because of the point cost. It's also a third pivot because other than the lovely Ogerpon and Foot, you got a hard switch.
Which, I mean, for his
I
team...
guess Flip Turn on Wake, but like...
Yeah, Flip Turn on Wake is something that I think is definitely going to be happening, and it's going to be the most annoying thing. I don't know if Quillfish H gets Flip Turn at all.
I'm not sure. Can you put Flip Turn in the thingy here instead of Bulk Up?
I just got rid of Wish because no, only Wake gets Flip Turn. But I definitely think he has...
it's doing Quillfish just not get Flip Turn.
Yeah. But his Sun abusing is absolutely fabulous. I love Victory Bell as a Terra Captain and Chlorophyll to abuse that Sun.
Yeah, no, that's really nice.
Dugtrio is an interesting pick because he was talking to me about it and he was pretty much, I'm just going to trap something in that doesn't want to be trapped and then just yeet it. I'm like, you know, fair enough. Fair enough.
Hearthflame is the thing I wanted. I'm very, very sad that she did not come home. But we have the better Sun Mom, Hilligan. So, you know, eat your little heart out. But that being said, that mon's amazing.
Ivy Cudgel being a 100 base, never missing fire type move.
High critical hit rate.
High critical rate. On top of the fact that Sun will most likely be up anyway, is a recipe for disaster, considering the thing can learn not only just Swords Dance, but it just has to Trailblaze once, and it's most likely outspeeding everything with the 110 speed. It
also gets Knockoff and Stomping Tantrum.
Gets Play Rough for any Dragon threats as well. It is an absolute monster of a... Half the time I look at Val and I look at Ogerpon, I'm like... For some reason, I always think Ogerpon's a little bit scarier than Val. Like, maybe because I've seen Val being played so much, where Ogerpon's still a new Pokemon. So, like, cool sets and how it's used is still being developed, which is really cool.
I love Ogerpon, but to play Devil's Valiant here, this thing is just utility, not utility, but versatility baked into a mon. Like, physical, special, can run support sets for some weird reason and they work. And it's amazing speed control outside of Sun even itself.
Kind of the opposite to Ogerpon in that way, where a Valiant can run whatever set you want, while a Half-Flame Ogerpon is going to run Swords Dance, 3 attacks, most weeks.
Unless you're doing some... I have Cornerstone in a PPDL, and I ran a Spiky Shield Leech Seed set on it, but I feel like Sturdy allows me that, where Hearthflame has Mode Breaker, so you want the offensive.
Also, I think that considering it's a Sun team, it's very, very weak to fire. I think you're inviting in a lot of fire types to take advantage of it, like having an Earthworm on a Sun team. I think it's brave.
It's only fire that's the biggest spike, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you also have Ninetales with the immunity, but that's not the immunity if you go and dry, if you know what I mean.
And I know the idea for Oh, sorry, I cut you off. Go.
No. I want to hear your 2 cents.
I was just going to say, I know like having Dugtrio, the idea is to trap something in, but the only issue with Dugtrio is it doesn't want to switch into anything. because I'm not gonna lie, 50 defense and 70 special defense, and with 35 HP, it's
there. It is. Oh,
it is
was the elephant.
It is not gonna like getting hit at all.
So the big thing is why Doug Trio's good is it's a revenge killer, and it's one of those things that I think is a lot better on ladder than it is in draft, because in ladder you just care about winning, you don't have a differential. But Doug Trio really needs an opening to get in, and since you don't have the pivoting for it, your opening is a death. So
even
at best, it's trading.
Shell, really.
Yeah.
Bring Shell Shell.
Because you know, if I'm prepping for this team, I'll be like, okay, I don't want it's a fire type. My Infonape, I'm just keep using that as my example tonight. I don't want my Infonape to get trapped, so I'm going to Shadow Cell and switch.
Yep.
Did we have any?
For having Infonape, you're a great example tonight.
Did we have any other closing remarks, or shall we skedaddle on?
All I'm really gonna say, other than that, is we did see a tidy up for it. So hype.
Oh, that's if that doesn't sweep something, I'll be sad.
And I think Poltergeist it's either gonna rise to the top and be amazing, or be a disappointment. Let's see which way it rolls.
I feel like the only issue with the Poltergeist,
it just sweeps a team or it just dies. It doesn't.
Yeah, that's my point. It's either gonna do everything or do nothing.
Hang on oh wait, no, yeah, I just realized the only hazard removal is tidy up. There's no defog and there's no rapid spin. There's only tidy up.
And you have the good news is that you don't have a bunch of fire types on your Sun team to die to rocks. Bad news is sticky webs are free.
But not only that, but Poltergeist also doesn't like having rocks up, because usually it's run with Sash, because it has to try and live a hit. Because if you get hit by a physical,
to deal with toxic spikes, but yeah, Poltergeist without a good hazard removal, ooh,
it hurts. It hurts.
And yeah, it means your Ogo is gonna be taking 25% too. Yay!
Yay!
Also, I think no Terra Fire on the Victory Bell's a bit of a throw.
I thought no Terra Dark on the Poltergeist was very interesting as well.
Bird having a 2 in 3 chance of dying to a close combat because of its Terra typing.
Terra Dark.
Yeah.
Why Terra Dark?
I guess Fairy does the same thing with the. It resists Dark, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Just for the knockoff resistance. And I think Mono Dark's a decent typing.
But
Mono Fairy works better.
In saying all of this, Brooks is the one player that literally only drafts weather. He's draft like every weather possible, and he will always draft weather, so he knows how to use weather. So he's cooking something. It's just on paper at the moment, he may have burnt a little bit of it.
I'm gonna say my last 2 cents on the team, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like weather myself. Don't get me wrong, but when I look at this team, I see a team with weather. I don't see a weather team, and that's what I see here. Like Victory Bell and Halt Flame and Wake are abusing it, but Valiant doesn't. Cresselia doesn't. Earthworm actively gets worse in it. Poltergeist wants to do its own thing, and Doug Trio can kill other fire types trying to abuse your Sun, but that's a solution to a problem you caused in the first place.
That is true. That is true. And with those wise words, we move on to our next person. Who is, drum roll please. Okay, don't do it all at once, guys. Jeez, thank you. Thank you. We have Ditto, and Ditto is consistent of Roaring Moon, Corviknight, Clefable, Volcarona, Iron Leaves, Terra Lucario with Fighting, Ghost, and Normal, Morgrem, Golem A, which is also the Terra Captain of Water, Electric, Flying, and then Sandaconda, which is another Terra Captain of Dragon, Fairy, and Ground.
Okay, we're just lead off by saying that is a fantastic. That is the best. That's a fantastic way to say it's a fantastic.
I think it has a lot of character.
This team is gonna have a field day with Brooks' team.
Oh hell.
Yeah, Volcarona moment.
Volcarona Roaring Moon moment. Oh.
Also, Roaring Moon, Iron Leaves. I'm not gonna eat a.
Honestly,
yeah, he's got a very. Got a very good corner, I will say.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. English is hard sometimes. Corv, Clefable, and Rowing Moon is an amazing little core you got going on there. I was calling Rowing Moon Rowing Mid for the longest time, but I feel like it's finally showing its true colors of what it should have been on release.
It also has knockoff now, so
It's knockoff.
Yeah, which helps.
I do love Volcarona. The only issue I always have with Volcarona is the fact that half the time you have to run boots because it does not want to take rocks, especially considering it can't Terra. So I feel like if there's one thing to expect with Volcarona, it's probably boots.
I mean, also to make that worse, I love Corviknight. That's like one of my favorite boys. He's the only defense against hazards.
My main issue with this team, it has like the 6 Mon syndrome, where other than like a Terra type that'll be swapped in, I see the top 5 Mons coming 8 out of 10 weeks. With
I can agree
either
to
an
that.
Iron Leaves or one of the Terra Caps.
It can be very hard to bring like the
when are you
entire
bringing
core.
Morgrim?
When you need
And I don't see
screens.
you're gonna bring. You're not gonna bring any of the Terramons without Terra. So I just feel this team is gonna be easy to prep for because you're gonna see, oh yeah, well, prep for these 6 Mons and we'll prep for each of the Terras a bit, you know.
Which is weird.
Just go ahead.
No, you go, Mackie, first.
Okay, I was just gonna say this. I'm noticing definitely a hazard weakness on most teams as a whole, which is just a interesting trend I'm noticing.
I was also gonna jump on the point of like it being it'll probably be easy to prep for. Considering we've already had one of the battles, I feel like it might be easy to prep for, but I feel like the biggest issue will be the Terra captains to try and figure out, okay, what Terra are they bringing and which one? Because like Terra normal E-speed is terrifying, or even Terra fighting close combat. And Sandaconda with Terra Dragon or Terra Fairy is actually a really nice combo. I don't know what Golem Alola does. I have never used it, nor have I ever seen use it.
It's got Magnet Pull.
To be honest, it just looks like another.
It has Galvin Explosion.
Yeah, look, it just looks like an Avalog with its defenses and attack. That's why I just see it as Avalog.
But it can't spin.
It can't spin, but it does have a great beard. So you know what? We take what we can get.
It has, in my opinion, one of the worst typings in the game.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think that Mon, remove its typing, give it water. That's a pretty good Mon.
And that's exactly what they've done with the Terra.
yeah, no.
Congratulations, we did it, boys.
I'm commending them for it. You know?
Very interesting note though is I know that like Core will be your main hazard remover, sorry, but if that thing goes down, what's stopping you from Toxic spiking? Because there's no poison type.
That's not the main hazard control. That's the only hazard control.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Volcarona gets. Oh no, it didn't get. It lost defog. Never mind. Yeah, once that thing goes down, what stops you from getting 2 layers Toxic spikes up? Probably nothing.
You don't even have a Terra Poison that can like cope with it.
It's like Taunt Morgrim, and that's about it.
I mean, luckily you have Clefable who doesn't care, but you have none of the Mons who do. Unless
Clefable is unaware, not Magic Guard, and I think setting up some Toxic Spikes is a great way to gather information on that Clefable of whether you can actually set up or it's gonna die to poison. So I think that's actually a really smart way.
90% of the time, that when you run unaware Clefable, you do run boots as well.
Yeah, so you can bluff Magic.
I have Clefable in like the Ubers League, and I have never ran unaware Clefable without boots.
Can't relate.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, it's like the meme, well, of like the SpongeBob thing when Lando knocks off Clefable, and then it's like he's got the fake magic on. Yeah, it's literally that. But the issue is that it's a well-known meme, so you know it's gonna happen.
I also commend the speed tier though. You know, speed tiers aren't that. I actually like the way they look, considering it's like 119, 104, 100. Like it's not the worst like speed tiers.
I mean, and Lucario, like we said, is E-killer, so could be worse.
I think a 115 gap between Leaves and Moon is quite bad though.
Yes, that is there's.
That's a pretty exploitable gap.
I just realized Leafs has 130 base attack. What the heck?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, attack is quite good.
Do we have any other thoughts on this team?
I mean, just
It's
more of
pretty
a
good.
Leafs comment. I'm curious to see Leafs without electric terrain, because not only is it a Quark Drive mon, its main stab gets boosted in electric terrain. So it's a mon that's very reliant on the little pincushiony boy.
Right. It's gonna be interesting to see.
I feel at least.
And yeah, definitely.
Oh, you go.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, I say yeah. Definitely, the biggest issue for the team is lack of hazard removing, which.
I was gonna also say, can Golem like manually set up electric terrain? I know that's like the weirdest thing to cook, but like it could like if that like that could be a late game sturdy play of.
It does get electric
Why
terrain.
would you put boost energy now? You'd
Say-
probably rather just do boost energy at that point, huh?
Yeah,
True.
no side beam. And I feel like Leaves, you have it's gonna be Sculf, Fan, Booster. That's it. And then I mean it's kind of same thing with Moon. It's gonna be Sculf, Fan, Booster.
Yep.
Other than that, do we have any final says, or shall we move on to our next
I mean,
team?
we didn't even mention him. Rotom Wash is always good.
Rotom mid. Let's go. No, I mean, I feel like, and I think that's like a slight, like the fact that you look at this team and there's so many other things to talk about, and then you notice Rotom Wash is like, oh, that's still there. Like, I like Rotom Wash, but I feel like with Rotom Wash, you kind of know what it does. Like, we've had multiple generations of what does it do? Volt switches, Hydro Pumps, Will-O-Wisp, maybe Hex.
Willows.
Could set up screens if it really wants to. Like, it's kind of like a
Could
standard
even Thunderwave you.
Thunderwave for the memes. It's one of those ones where like you kind of look at it as like, yeah, look, everyone has seen it in draft. We pretty much know what it does, but how do you overcome
Right,
it?
it's 'cause
That's the
this
question.
Yeah. it's like I think Rotom Wash is a puzzle in itself. It's not really gonna catch you off guard, but how are you gonna play around its specialized bag of tricks?
Yeah.
Right.
Other than that, we shall move on. Are we okay with moving on?
Yeah.
Gonna move on.
All right, the next team I will say looks like the most like I don't know. I looked at this team like on paper. It looks very much like a standard draft team. I don't know about you guys, but it looks like it's such a standard draft team. We have in order. We have Sneasler,
Oh my gosh, you're
Manaphy,
right.
Skeledirge, my boy Tinglu. I love Tinglu. My other boy Gudra H, Kilowattrel, which is the Terra Captain of Fairy Electric Water, Indeedee, both forms. Hariyama, which is the Terra Captain of Steel, Normal, and Fighting. Venomoth, which is a Terra Captain of, I believe, Bug, Ground, and Water. And then finally we have Florges.
I've been getting First Word in a lot. Does someone else want to take it?
No.
Well, that was great. I will take first word again. No grass type. There is no grass type on this team.
Also, sorry, this might just be my weather brain taking over.
Oh, here.
But I see that Manaphy Kilowattrel, and I'm like, where's the Pelipper?
Where's
And then I don't see him.
You know what?
And then,
Actually,
and then I see that you're like got the psychic terrain, and I'm like, my brother, ditch the mouse, get the bird, hell, get the frog, and
Is that a
set up.
mouse?
I don't care what it is. It's not a Drizzlemon.
okay, here's the thing. That Aaron Ditto with like Psychic Seed Sneasler. He got a free and burn.
Yeah, okay, that's true. You do have the unbonded mon. Then Florges, I think this team would benefit from rain. I genuinely do.
To counteract that,
Yeah, you can do it there, so.
the seed unburden thing is Sneasler's move pool is so vast, and what it can do to get rid of an item is so great that it doesn't actually need terrain, especially considering it does have access to fling. So worst case scenario, you fling off your item.
Big nugget.
We got big nuggets.
Big, like there are definitely
Normal
like
gem,
ways.
Fake out is always an option too.
That is true as well.
By the way, do we
yeah.
allow Tailglow?
Anyway,
I don't remember. Do we allow Tailglow?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Manaphy's about to.
Manaphy has
Manaphy's gonna go brrr with Tailglow.
No, I'm saying,
And
no,
that's-
honestly, I'm doing some calcium at +3. They're still pretty easy to survive.
Mm.
I've done some calcium before.
and it's gonna get ruined by Thunderwave. Too bad hydration isn't active. And the other thing is, like Darkrai, you have a dead ability now.
Take heart, so
Because-
Thunderwave wouldn't worry it because it'll just take heart, removing its
Yeah.
status.
You're
Take
right,
heart.
it does have take heart. I forget that it kills status.
Yeah.
So Man, they could give this thing a build. It's not hydration at this point.
Yeah, they could have probably given it just give it fluffy for no reason at all.
I was gonna say water absorb, like at least be in theme, but
Gooey, give it gooey because it's probably
Hydration's
slimy.
just good for the rest stuff. Because hydration's the only bit that like recovers rest when you click it.
Oh, that's true.
I,
Dude, put a polytoad on. We want to see those rest
That's what I'm
strats.
saying. And
want a
Gucci takes
polytoad.
advantage of it too. The only mon that's not happy about
I
it
don't
is
think
like
Zooey gets
Ting Lu.
hydration, does it? Does Zooey one get hydration? I thought I got something else instead.
No,
No, it's Manaphy.
Hisuian gets Saxipper, Shell Armor, and Gooey, so it doesn't get...
Oh, it lost hydration?
It lost hydration, but
Yeah,
I
lost
mean,
hydration.
Shell Armor is still a fantastic... Like, Goodra H is such an incredible Pokemon, because, like, look at those stats across the board. 100 attack, 100 defense, 110 special attack, 150 special defense. You can run this thing physical, and it's a little bit of an Infernape, where, like, though there's, like, 10 base points difference between its attack and special attack, you could still run a
So-
physical set and still hurt.
I'm a little
Gudra's like one
confused
of my favorite Pokemon to draft personally.
on
Like, there's just
Florges'
so much you can
identity.
do with it.
Florges is a
Because-
Wishmon. It is there
I
to
know
wish
it's a Wishmon.
and leave.
Special wall. I guess there's 2 physical walls and 2 special walls.
So it's a very
It's a-
nice...
yeah.
I feel like Florges and it does have Wish, and that's something that Gudra would eat its heart out about not having. But I don't know.
I think also, you know, aromatherapy in case he doesn't want to take Heart Manaphy and just wants to run Tail Glow. There's like so much like Florges can do to help its team. And then we have Dirge as well that
Does it still
even
get
if you...
aromatherapy?
Say again, sorry?
I don't think it still gets aromatherapy.
Oh, did it lose that? Maybe I'm thinking Nat Dex again. I always think of Nat Dex. It's real bad of me. I swear I still got it.
Wait, check it.
It does not. It's not get a single A move.
Oh, that's depressing. Well, it still gets Wish, and that's more than enough. And then Dirge, even if you add like a rain Pokemon, Dirge can still just sit there and just Will-O-Wisp Hex. Like, it doesn't need to Torch Song if it doesn't, or just sit there on the field and just be there.
Dodge being alive means you can't set up.
Yeah.
That's.
Yep.
Oh hell, even dodge in prep means that you need to. Okay, I want to bring my. I'm gonna use an example. Well, I have a Salamence. I want to click Dragon Dance and Earthquake. Oh, my Earthquake did 32%, and now I'm Will-O-Wisped. Cool.
And I don't have a Lumberry. Oh no.
Yeah. Or you already burned it like a fool.
Speaking of taking you know, getting burnt and all that, my man came into my DMs and was like, I wasn't DMing, he just said like the Muffin's Pokemon of Tinglu Facade, and I'm so proud. Tinglu Facade is such an underrated moveset that because pretty much you could run just Facade and then just nothing but hazards. And just let people make the mistake of burning
not
you.
Get hazard challenge not get status challenge impossible. Like.
And I think it has
status.
some very good hazard setters. I love the Terra Pokemon as well. Kilowattrel Terra is like a must if you're drafting that Pokemon. It's like you have to
Oh my
do it.
goodness. Oh, I might have just realized something very bad.
Share with the class and the rest of the division.
Let me double check something.
Well,
'Cause,
while you double check that, I'll just continue us filling off the Terra caps. You know, Venomoth does get access to Quiver Dance, which is always really nice. And no one drafted Oricorio, so there's no one to be like, haha, your Quiver Dance means nothing against my bird. I mean, you would have to run, if you want to take advantage of it, you'd run Mirror Herb, and then Hariyama is a Pokemon I haven't really seen in drafts, and I'm really excited to see it in drafts, because I feel like that's going to be a very interesting one, especially like Terra Normal. What is Terra Normal there for?
Fake out. Alright, guys, let's play a game.
Yay.
Alright. What Mon gets hazard removal on this team?
I'm pretty sure Kilowattrel doesn't get defog.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure Floor just lost defog, and Venomoth also
He has
lost
no
defog.
hazard remover.
There-
That's
there
right.
is-
There is 0 hazard control on this team.
Yay!
Yeah,
That is
wow.
what I
I love
realized.
these
Yeah, that's
games.
wrong.
Remember how I said that I feel like Keldeo forgot hazards exist?
As Keldeo says, Hazard doesn't exist in Gen 9. This is a hazardless Gen. It's not like Gen 6 where there's no boots. Just run 6
Yeah,
boots
uh,
every week.
Enjoy your mono boots. Bandito, you have some good things here, but this team has no identity. And I know you're gonna be all mad at me for saying that, but you can't just rely.
Do so much work
Yeah.
to it.
you can't just say, oh, I have a Sneasler. I can click a funny button every week. It can't tailor this season. And oh, I have a Manaphy. Cool, set up and do what really? Like, yeah, you have some great offense in those two, and then you have some great walls, and then your Kilowattrel speed control and DD, unless it's setting up one Mon, it's disappointing. I think Hariyama got some HP stat and can take a hit or two, but is a waste in comparison. I don't like this team very much at all, save for the first 3 months.
I definitely think if he wanted to switch it up for like week 2 and all that, I think he would definitely bring something with Rain and then bring something that can remove hazards. Even if you draft more Peko, which is 4 points, it has Rapid Spin, at least. Like, you know, I think like having something that can remove hazards will definitely benefit this team more, because look at it now, this team also doesn't like getting chipped too much. Like, I know you have a Wishmoth of Florges, but you can't always rely on as much as a Wish passer.
Florges isn't a Momola either. Like, Momola brings so much utility, and Florges is really like the Walmart brand. I think this is a team that would benefit from a Pineco, and that's insane to say.
Let's go, Pineco! It's not 20 points anymore, it's affordable. It's affordable.
I can't say much good about this team, other than it's defensive, and then you have some offensive, but other than that,
as I said at the start, when I think like when I switched this team, it looks like your standard draft team in a sense, and I think going forward, if he just makes a few changes, it can go from the standard draft team to one of the bigger threats in the league.
I'd like to see it. I like Bandito. I've seen a lot of his teams, and this feels uncharacteristically scatterbrained for him. That being said, I know he's a decent player, so hopefully he can prove me wrong, but this ain't it, Chief.
Any other closing remarks?
I agree with that.
All is quiet in the Muffin area, so we'll continue on with our next person, my favorite person. We have MurMur. I love MurMur. Sorry, that's my personal bias. So he has Garchomp, the weird genie-looking thing from Legends of Arceus. Enamorous. Empoleon, Zapdos G, Ogerpon, just the regular.
Use his both name of Gyapdos.
Gyapdos, normal Ogerpon, so the grass one. Meloetta, which is the Terra Captain of Fairy Normal Fighting. My boy Donphan, the big Don. Miss Magius, my bad, of Terra Fairy Electric Ghost. Typhlosion, Weezing, and then Pikachu, which is the Terra Captain of Electric, Grass, and Fighting.
I absolutely love Terra Pikachu, and I'm so glad it's Fighting and not Fairy. Let's go!
Terra Pikachu about to like go bro on the team with Light Ball. It's about to slap things up.
It has an insanely amazing attack stat. Yeah, it's frail as all hell, but like it's a bomb. It's a bomb for 1 point.
Yeah, it does damage. Yeah.
Also, we can remove hazards.
Yay! I also think there's another team that has a nice like speed tier of like 110, 106, 105, 102, 100, 100, 90, 90, 60, 60, 50. And with the slower mons actually being okay being slower because of what they can do, you know, Weezing, Empoleon, and Donphan, it's okay that they're slow because they can at least sit on the field.
I absolutely love the speed tiers of 105, 102, 100. I think that's just so cool.
110 is highest though.
It does lack. Great. It does lack, but I think like so far from all the teams, not many people had that like faster than 110, and if they did, it was just the one Pokemon. So you just bring a Scarfmon for that one Mon.
The biggest issue I'm gonna bring up is stuff like Polt or Valiant, because they're going to be so fast at base. You do have a really big over to climb. So either you're running like Scarf Chomp, or really dedicating to getting punched in the face by an Iron Valiant, and that's not something you really want to do.
I think another big issue is the glaring ice weakness of, especially considering every ice weakness they have, none of those mons can Terra. So it's kind of like, if say for example Electro H tears into ice, you're not gonna have a nice time, at all.
I mean, going back, Igo's team I think is the best team, so using his team as an example is kind of mean, but
yeah, like
what switches into bundle though? For example, what switches into bundle?
Napoleon.
I was gonna say
Napoleon.
Napoleon has a really good.
But even then, free dry is neutral.
But I mean, that's a free dry on a
Yeah, free
one-on-one
dry
special
quite
defense,
well.
which
I've
it's not bad.
read free dry quite well.
Plus, don't forget, Napoleon does now have access to Roost again. So, it now has. So it's not like it takes a hit. Oh no, it's now going to die. At least can like recover.
Hey, hold up. What's this man's logo? Why is it ripping off mine?
He's had this logo for forever.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding. He's had this logo for like forever.
That's so funny.
Did you have? I haven't seen your new logo. I don't think. Do you have the exact same logo?
I mean, on the Las Vegas leaves.
Oh, so he's Las Vegas. Yeah, he is. That's kind of funny.
You got the futuristic version.
Yeah.
That's
your shout out though.
Shout out.
Shout out.
But I do like the Ogre Pond with Defiant. So it's kind of stopping like anyone that wants to put up webs to really slow the team, or like even Intimidate Mons is kind of like, oh, thanks for the attack boost after I just like Trailblaze. So that, like it doesn't have to Source Dance if it doesn't want to, if it can somehow get that boost.
He has 2 defog counterplays in Contrary and Defiant. 3 and competitive.
Competitive, I remember.
And competitive
Yeah.
as well.
And I was
Yeah.
talking about Gapdos as Defiant. I forgot about Napoleon.
Like once.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Unless they can spin, which by the way they have Miss Magius to stop spinning. Unless the opponent can spin, Hazards pretty much are going to stay on the field because you don't really want to give anything a plus attack, or in the Enormous takes plus
They have 3 Defiant Mons. Ogapon.
Yeah, that was yeah. So like
yeah.
so you either like plussing someone's attack, or you get allowing Enormous to like miss, like not get hit, which is scary.
The more I look at this team, the more I like it, except for the ice weakness.
Yeah, the ice weakness is like the only downside, but I guess you do have Typhlosion. You do have I love Meloetta's Terra types of Fairy normal fighting.
Yeah, I really like that.
That is like one of my favorites, considering Relic Song is going to hit hard. Like you Relic Song, then you Terra fighting close combat. Oof. Or even if you don't want to Terra close combat, you just Terra fighting Terra Blast, for example, staying that special version. Which, actually, how fast is the fighting version? I always forget, like, because I know the fighting version always gets a speed boost.
Dude, I didn't know they changed stats.
Yes, it does. It becomes 128. So there's its speed. There's the speed fixture. 100 base HP, 128 attack, 128 speed, with it 9 defense, 77 special defense. So, I mean, all cases and purposes, that kind of fixes the speed issue.
The only issue is, I do agree with you, but it's like a Gen 6 Mega, in a sense. Where, for that first turn, you're base 90.
Yeah. Which, I guess, isn't the worst thing. And I mean, like, nothing really wants to take a Relic Song in the sense of, though it's a 10% chance of sleeping, this thing has Serene Grace. So, you know, you're kind of risking that sleep here and there. Honestly, Darkrai on this team would have been funny because Serene Grace sleep plus Darkrai.
I absolutely agree. Yeah,
that would have been real fun to see.
That would have been funny.
I really like this team. It's gonna be rough when the ice beams start flying in.
I think.
Also, yeah, this one thing I'll be a little bit nitpicky on. I wish the Pikachu was Terra Water instead of Terra Grass. It still hits the ground, plus gets a little bit of extra texture concise.
Yeah, I don't see why Terra Grass, because I mean, I guess, you know, flying, like, you're kind of weakening yourself to a flying type, and it's still Pikachu at the end of the day, so
I feel like I would have picked just offensive Terra types. You have Leo Pikachu. You're using Light Ball.
But I do like the
Water can be offensive. It gets Surf, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does get does get Surf, which is funny.
I mean, becoming a pure water type is never a bad thing.
And then Miss Magius with Terra Electric as well. I think Miss Magius is like the most standard Terra of Fairy, Electric, and then of course Ghost. I think that's like the most standard Miss Magius, and I still love it. I still love Terra Electric Miss Magius because, like, what's gonna hit it super effectively? Nothing. Just don't hit it with a physical move, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, even when it Terra's Electric though, knockoff's still gonna not be great.
That is true. That is true. Will, did you have any thoughts?
I have seen the damage that a Terra Meloetta did, because you'll have to prep for both. you scurry for a turn, boom, bang, and then but if not, boom, Terra Fairy Calm Mind, and then what do you do? You're just dead.
Yeah, I think this is. I'm gonna say the second best team we've looked at tonight so far.
I also, this is like a little point. I've also realized that the thing I think gets access to Hyper Voice. So, you know, Calm Mind 1's Terra Normal Hyper Voice. What, you're going to sit behind a sub? Guess what? It goes through sub. So, I think that's also another really scary idea for Terra Normal as well. Other than that, we'll move on to our next person. Are we okay with that?
Good to go.
Yes.
Perfect. Just make sure that we're giving everyone a chance to talk and enough love as well. But our next person is another Aussie. Let's go the Aussies. We have ourselves Vortex, aka the Whispering Shadows. That has it's a very nice logo. But they have Palafin, Chi-Yu, Terra Jolteon with Ice Electric Grass, Treads, Decidueye H, I didn't say Ursaluna, Ursaring with Terra Dark, Normal, and Ghost. I'll come back to that in a second because I'm not happy. Noivern, Kragonal, which is Terra Ice, Water, Steel, Gengar, and Gardevoir.
Before you destroy this Ursaring's entire career, I'm just gonna say Treads is like one of the best draft mons of all time.
One of the best spinners, I think.
Yeah, like there's never a scenario where you're like, damn, I have to use Iron Treads this week. Shucks.
It's so versatile. It's like, other than the two versatiles like Pull and Valiant, it can do so much. It's the mon that gets the best improvements when going from like standard OU play to draft. Like it gets so exponentially better.
Oh yeah.
When you're number 3 to Valiant and Pull, you're doing something right. Like.
But
okay,
I think Chi it's the opposite of Chi-Yu, where Chi-Yu in standard is so good, but then draft is like kind of dookie.
Yeah.
Now to quickly rip apart this bear. Boy, you better change this thing to Terra Fairy. Get rid of Dark. You're literally opening yourself to a close combat from something with Scrappy. Like, what are you doing? Terra Ursaring can actually do really well, especially with the Evilite. So give it some love. Change the Terra. I will not take no for an answer. I will fight you. Sorry, that kind of get out. Anyway.
Also, I'd like to mention, be me, right? Draft Noivern. Noivern, 10 points. Doesn't make it Terra Captain. Huh?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm okay with that though. I think Noivern can do so much without Terra anyway. You know, you have your Defogger, you have your something with like. I think it's okay. It definitely does benefit from like a Terra normal Boom Burst, but I think it's okay.
Gardevoir, though, that definitely could have used Terra.
Oh, that's
more effectively somehow.
That's 10 points as well, isn't it?
It's 10 points, like, yeah. It's expensive, but yeah. But I think, yeah. I feel like I'm not sure if we're working up the team, but like.
I feel like the Terras were a weak link here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That being said, this guy does have 4 ways to remove hazards. So yay!
Yay!
Yeah, we get other removal in Keldeo division. Let's go.
Also, the speed tiers are just nutty. Like 130, 123, 110, 106, 105, 100, 100. But then it does drop by 80, 60, 55. But like that speed tier is chef's kiss, especially considering Jolteon being a Terra captain. I'm using Jolteon in another league, and it being able to Terra is absolute fantastic.
It really is just Regieleki at home, and that's not a bad thing in this case.
Regieleki, but great points.
Yeah,
great points.
Regieleki can't Terra, so Jolteon's your best. Also, you can remove hazards, but you only have 1 Stealth Rock user and 1 Toxic Spike user, which is a little unfortunate.
I feel like with this team though is like it doesn't have to focus too much on hazards, because like where it could set up hazards, it can just hit something hard, if that makes sense. Like instead of like setting up Stealth Rocks, you just kind of just you just Earthquake, or you Volt Switch out and like get some momentum.
The only reason why is like Chi-Yu and Palafin are really open to Revenge Killers, and being able to break those sashes is nice. But
honestly,
this is more of a nitpick.
Also, I love the Decidueye pick, mainly because of Triple Arrows. If for those that don't know, oh no, it's not Triple Arrows. Is it Triple Arrows? It's move.
Triple Arrows, yeah.
Yeah. If for those that don't know at home, the Triple Arrows is I think a base 90 move. that doesn't.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
That doesn't miss. Yeah. That has a high critical hit ratio. That is, I think, 50% chance to lowering your defenses and a 30% chance of flinching. Though it has 60 base speed, slap a scarf on that boy, and you're fine.
The two I do gotta to bring up though, that if you see it, your first thought is Scarf. Which is good and bad. I think Scarf is its best set, but the issue is that Scarf is its best set, so yeah, you can have the mind games of not being Scarf, but at the same time, if you're not Scarf, you're losing a lot of utility.
Yeah. I feel like with this team being so fast, like it running Scarf, it kind of just ends up fitting in with the rest of them anyway. Because like that being Scarf is probably your worst, the least of your worries in with this type of speed tier. Especially considering though a lot of these Pokemon are frail on the physical side, their special attacks are insane, like 110, 130, 125, 135. I mean, like, excuse me? Will, did you have any comments?
As I said, I think the Iron Treads is the go, and I agree with the point where I don't know. I feel like there's like Maki was saying earlier on, there's not much purpose behind this team. Like a lot of these mons feel like drafted without synergy a bit. Like, I'm not sure.
I can definitely see that because I feel like, you know, having... I think it goes back to the Terra Captains as well. Like, having the 3 Terra Captains, but then you also have Noivern and Gardevoir that probably benefit a lot more with Terra, but then you can't Terra them because we have a 20 point limit. It's kind of like this bit of a juggle of it all.
Yeah.
Chi-Yu, personally, I'm just like, you can probably get rid of that fish and get up a different fire type and maybe get like, you know...
points back.
Because
I feel like you've spent a lot of money on Chi-Yu and Palafin, and I also like having a secondary water type with Palafin because that thing is not a defensive water. That thing's a brick. It's a sledgehammer.
I also think you can probably get rid of Chi-Yu and like your special, like, because you don't need another hard-hitting special tag. You have Gengar, you have Jolteon, you have like Noivern's special tag is 97. You have Gardevoir. Chi-Yu's kind of there. Yeah. If you get rid of Chi-Yu and putting a fire type and something else that with more bulk, because right now your defenses are just a bit of a shocker, and a fighting type move is just going to have a field day.
Your team is relatively fast, but I'm really worried about your physical bulk, your Terra Captains. I agree with Will that I feel like this team had I feel like unlike Bandito, who I can't even see the concept, I can at least see what you were going for here. I just don't think it works as well in practice.
Yeah, I also, I don't know if it's available in your division or not, but like if Blaze Tauros is available, I think it'd be incredible here.
Oh, I think Blaze Tauros is available, and that thing is a fantastic one to get rid of screens. I love Blaze.
Absolutely. Using it in our league right now, just putting in so much work.
So I've used it before as well. It's very fun.
So take it from us, who have either won a league or have played many games of draft. Get rid of Chi-Yu is a stupid fish. Put on Taurus Bull. All the homies love Taurus Bull fire.
It also just lets you get a little bit chunkier. You can change your points around. Maybe not have to... If you want to keep something like the Ursaring, that's fine. Or maybe replace it with something else. Maybe get a better flying immunity than Cryogonal. Cryogonal's not bad, but it's really what you grab when you're like, I have no flying immunity and no Spinel. And then that little ice guy's like, I'm here. And you're like, thank you, my son. I just don't think he's needed.
I also think Cryogonal, the fact that you did make it a Terra Captor, Steel and Ice, like you've once again opened, it's another Terra typing that you've opened yourself up for a close combat. When your team is already really scared of fighting types in general. I think some considerations of like making sure like you can, you know, sort of take a fire type.
And you do have a ghost type, but your ghost type is Gengar. And Gengar's been around for how long? How long ago did Gen 1 come out?
Very long, very long.
And Gengar's big thing is, yeah, he's a spin blocker, and he's fighting immunity. But Gengar's very frail, so sure he's going to switch into that close combat, but if he doesn't kill whatever's in front of him,
you get knocked off.
He might just die to that coverage move that Lucario has, or whatever.
I also like to point out back to the Taurus Bull thing. I just realized Intimidate would actually make this team so like very nice as well, because like you're now like kind of helping your defensive weakness. So I just want to point that out.
It would also let
fix the defensive weakness. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It would also let Douey act as a more defensive mon with Roost and whatever. Which I don't think recovery on your team is bad, because I think he's your only one who does. Not that recovery is necessary, but it's nice to be able to stall taunts when necessary.
Other than that, are we ready to skedaddle on before we tear this team apart anymore?
I think we shall.
We'll just draft a new team for you. It's okay. Next team we have is the I'm gonna mispronounce the name horribly. Aryan.
Coach of the Kyoto?
Like Aryan.
Aryan. That's probably it, but I just can't read. Their teams consist of Spectre, Backscabbler, Great Tusk, Armourouge Terra, which is Terra Fighting, Grass, and Fire. Toxapex, the Goat Rock type of Terra Water, Ghost, and Dark. Knucklestack, Mid Gambit. I hate that. That Pokemon's so useless. Ampopom with Terra Dark, Normal Fairy. Dracoloak, and then Gyarados.
Okay, I'm just gonna say right now, there's no fairy.
There is no fairy. There's also no electric or grass.
Also, can I go on my Terra rant that you went on last time with Usering?
Oh, go for it.
Go for it.
Knucklestack is one of the best EV users of all time, maybe only to like Porygon 2. And you pick Terra Dark when he's still weak to close combat?
Oh, so that's supposed to be Terra Rock. That's my bad. That's my bad.
Oh, that makes more sense. Okay, never mind.
I realized it didn't have its stab to that's look, it took 4 hours to make this PowerPoint, so there's bound to be a mistake somewhere.
Oh, you're good. You know what? Should happen.
Okay. Never mind that's me being mean then. Also, Ampipom is not a good Pokemon. Ampipom is so bad that talking about it got banned on the forums in what, Gen 4 or Gen 5? Because there was so much discord about people trying to make it work. And if it wasn't working in Gen 4 or 5, what's it doing in Gen 9?
I mean, I guess it has Technician and Skill Link still with Tail Slap and all that, and Fake Out. And I guess with Terra Fairy, you know,
I don't think it has Tail Slap anymore.
Oh, does it not?
I think I lost Tail Slap. Yep.
Dude, get rid of that thing. Grab a Fairy type, please, for the love of everything holy. Grab yourself a Fairy type. Your Dragon weakness is showing.
I hate to bring up that stuff. I feel like I'm mean because I open up with saying that even discussing Ampipom was banned, let alone the Mon.
I feel like this team suffers from I grabbed too many high point Mons and now I just gotta fill in slots. Because I say that because, like, look at the first 3 picks of the Ghost Horse, Backscabbler, and Great Tusk.
All 17 point Mons.
All
my
17.
math is bad. That's 34 plus 17 is
51, I think. Quick math.
Like,
if that's true, that's half of your budget.
Like, but all 3 of them are amazing. But then you look down, it's like, okay, you added another Ghost Dragon type. I'm not sure why when you already have a Ghost and a Dragon type.
I had a Tail Ghost.
There is no look, I get having the 2 water types of Toxapex and Gyarados, but I feel like because you've used a lot of those points at the start, you do have to be a little bit more picky.
I think it's because it's a ground immunity. It's his only ground immunity.
Which it comes back to the next issue of Earthquake is sitting there, ready to go.
Also, while I think Treads is the biggest glow up in draft, I feel like Tusk loses to his brother. While Tusk is better on lateral, I'd 9 times out of 10 rather have Treads than Tusk. Not saying Tusk is bad. Tusk is an amazing physical wall, and there's a lot of new sets you can run in it, but he has a lot more weaknesses than Treads.
That is true, and it's especially with its special defense being 53, it's much harder to try and switch in. One set that I know sort of works is Close Combat or Halon Rush with Eject Pact to punish something that switches in, like a special tag switches in. That's a very niche set.
When I had Tusk in USDL Season 2, I think I ran AV 3 out of the 10 weeks, not counting playoffs, because I didn't want my tusk to die instantly when I was trying to get rapid spin off. And this is his only hazard removal, is that tusk.
That is true.
Yeah.
Also, like, there's no Volt Switch mons. There's no. Oh, there were, I think, 2.
His U-turn mons aren't real. It's Dracolock and Ampibomb. There's no pivot heal.
And, like, I mean, I guess, like, you have King Gambit for endgame, but I feel like King Gambit without Terra, I mean, you kind of, like, at this point, everyone knows what King Gambit does. To the point where it's like, okay, with no Terra, I just EV myself to always live up like a Supreme Overlord as the last Pokemon and just yeet it.
Here's my you know, I'm gonna trademark this before False Swipe Gamer can steal it. I think he's the prime example of the Dodrio theorem, where you know exactly what it's going to do, and on ladder that's fine, but in draft you have to worry about differential. And unless you want to be 1-0ing everybody every week, it's not at its full strength.
That's true. Even not a full save, still got some really good 135 attacks to work with. If you lose like 1 or 2 mons,
yeah,
that's still a good boost.
And it is still have Defiant, which we can't underestimate.
Yeah.
Rashalp did so well without Over Supreme Overlord and worse stats. Steel Dog is just an amazing typing.
But I definitely think a Fairy type is probably very much needed in this team.
I also like the Steel type.
Thing, absolutely.
But no, I don't want a Steel type because you have a fighting weakness. I don't know what I want with this team. I want a flying type. I want a real flying type.
They have a Steel type of Gambit.
You're right. So yeah, I want a flying type. I want like not Gyarados. I want something that can maybe take a hit. Like what flying types are left right now? Just something.
I have no idea what's left, but
like,
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, Spectre, Backscabbler, and Great Tusk, all 3 amazing picks, and all 3 of them on a team is really, really good, but, like, I feel like the mon supporting them could definitely be better, in my head.
I also, Omrouge is an amazing Pokemon when supported correctly, and I don't see what's supporting it here.
And I feel like the same with, Toxic. Like, Toxapex is an amazing Pokemon, but it also doesn't have access to Scald anymore.
It's still an amazing stop break, is what I like to call mons like that are just, you send out, they're annoying, it's either going to chip something, set up hazards, or force a switch. It's not going to make any progress, but it shows a stop break for it.
Which I feel like for this team, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing with, like, the offensive, like, pressure.
You have 2 stop breaks, also with Knuckle Stack.
Yeah, and then, so...
This is just my thing. The reason why I wouldn't call like Gen 8 packs or Gen 9 Gog stop breaks, and I'd call them defensive utility mons, is because of stuff like Knockoff, Scald, and Salt Cure that puts pressure, immediate pressure. Yeah, Toxapex has Toxic, but that's its really only way to make pressure other than the Infestation.
Plus, everyone sees the Toxic coming, just go into a Poison type, to be honest.
Or Steel type.
Or Steel type.
And with Knuckle Stack, it's even worse at that.
I mean, that's just like, basically, if that thing gets knocked off, it is useless.
His only mon who wants to take a knockoff on this entire team is maybe Tusk.
Yes.
I mean, because Gambit can take it, but Gambit really likes his item.
Same with Bax as well. Bax really like either a choice band set or like something to help it support its
loaded dice or boots. Yeah, or Lum. And not that it's having you need a mon to absorb knockoffs, but it's good to have something that can function without it. Which is technically Toxapex, but it doesn't really want to not have its lefties or its AV or whatever quirky set you're trying to run. I don't know what to say about this team. That Backscalibur is Backscalibur. He's gonna D-Dance, he's gonna Choice Band, he's gonna Glaive Rush. And if you let Spectre spiral out of control, that's kind of your fault. I don't really see what's supporting these two powerhouses.
Especially considering, like, especially it is like Grail on the defense side as well, so it definitely needs that big support. I think something with a bit more defenses that can still hit hard will be very much like, because like you said, it has 2 stop mons, but I think it needs something that can support but also can kind of fight back on its own. And at the moment, without Scald, I don't think Toxapex can really fight back at all.
Not unless you're a silly AV set, and that's a gimmick. Also, did anybody draft A-Tails?
Draft who?
Alolan Ninetales.
No one did.
I want you to just replace Toxapex with Alolan Ninetales, and now look at this team.
You have Veil for back, Veil for Spectre. You get a fairy type for you finally get your fairy type.
Yeah.
I know my solution to 2 teams have been add weather, and I know coming from me, you're probably with a grain of salt, but like, I draft weather cores without the weather settle.
But see, the thing is though, adding weather, it's not like you're making them into a weather team. They're just a team that benefits a lot from weather. I think that's the difference. It's a little bit different to Brooks, where Brooks' team would be better if it had more weather to benefit. Where these other teams, technically, especially snow now, considering hail doesn't hurt you, Veil will help everyone.
Yeah, especially Spectre. That lets Spectre get a free Nasty Plot, a free
substitute.
Substitute. That's the one I'm looking for. Only thing is then, and you have Tusk and Armarouge that can deal with Steel types. Remove the Steel types, send in the Ninetales, set up the Veil, and sweep physically with backs, especially with Spectre. And this team, and add a Flying type. I say dump Pex, dump Gyarados, get Ninetales and a Flying type, and call it a day.
I also think maybe even think about a Wishbone potentially, if you can, because like, you know, if that type of healing is always useful for these type of like offensive type of teams. But like if you can't do it, you can't do it. It's not like not most important.
Gambit have a second life, which is never a bad thing.
Yeah. Any other closing remarks or thoughts? Take that as
say again, because I don't think we can emphasize it enough. Get a freaking fairy.
Yes, please get a fairy. You don't need a dragon ghost type. Just get a fairy.
Yeah, literally.
Alright.
If Togetic was in this game, it'd be 1 point, but it's not. So, sad.
Next up is NinjiBro, the person I'm fighting for my week 1. Their team consists of Hydreigon, Annihilate, Gliscor, Cinderace, Iron Moth, Tinkaton, Chestnut, I nearly forgot his name, with Terra Water fighting Steel, Vaporeon, what is Carbink with Terra fighting Water Fairy, and then finally Crocodile with Terra Fire, Grass, and Fairy.
Just a random question for you.
Yes.
Was this a first pick Hydreigon?
I don't know actually. I think 8 was first pick. I maybe have accidentally put it the way it did.
I was going to commend him if this was a first pick Hydreigon, and I was going to say, man, it's cooking with something that I don't want to know.
No, it wasn't, because he picked up Hydreigon because we were talking in DMs, and I was like, hey, you should do this because you don't have this typing, and you kind of at the moment going to die from an earthquake. You're still going to die from an earthquake, but you're less likely to die from an earthquake.
That's never mind then. You're about to get my respect, but instead you get to me to say you have no hazard control.
Yeah. Oh, Bloodman was their
opposite.
Bloodman was their first pick, and then they dropped it.
His only hazard control is Cinderace.
Yes.
Then you don't want to use hazard yourself. Then you don't want to use hazard yourself at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This ground weakness is kind of like staring.
Should I spare my Tinkaton rant, or would you like to hear it?
Is it just that you don't like it?
I think making Tinkaton on paper is one of the best draft mons of all time. Steel Fairy, big button, ignore abilities, can spend status, use Stealth Rock. Oh, it's amazing. Why is this mon only 10 points? What am I missing? And then I look at it.
75 base attack.
A base stat total of 506, and I'm like, damn, what did it go to? And then I see its special defense and its offenses and its speed, and I'm like, what? This mon disappoints me because it gets great moves. It's limited, but the moves it gets are good with a great typing. And Mode Breaker isn't a ability that makes mons better, but it makes good mons even better. It won't make a mid mon good, but it'll make a good mon better. And Tinkaton can't afford an ability that doesn't buff its stats when it's running that. When it doesn't have Gigaton Hammer up on something that's weak to steel, you're not doing anything.
I also definitely think, going back to hazards, like, you have Gliscor, one of the best hazard mons, but the only issue is, you know, if the opponent has a rapid, like, you kind of can't court change unless your opponent rapid spins their own hazard, like, the hazards away, or you kind of just both playing with hazards at that point, which can be quite detrimental with this amount of
toxic space for your own team to deal with, because you don't have a grounded poison. Oh, you do, you have Iron Moth.
Yeah, but the only issue is like, Rocks is going to hurt a lot.
And yeah, you have 2 ground immunities in Hydreigon and Gliscor, which is great. And you have a resistance in Chestnut. Everything else doesn't want to take it. Also, in my opinion, letting Vaporeon be able to Terra was an oversight, and you drafted them on and didn't let it Terra.
How many points was a Vaporeon again?
9. I think it should have been 11, but that was an oversight on my spot, and you just... I appreciate you not tearing it, because I didn't see what Vaporeon was, but yeah.
Yeah, look, I think the one thing I definitely recommend is just get rid of some of these. Like, I know you have Crocodile, which is a nice, like, unaware Pokemon, and it just sits on the field, but I still think, like, having this many fire types is just unnecessary. I remember you saying that you want an Iron Moth because it outsped, I think you said Val, even though I found out it does not outspeed Val. But it is a very speedy mon, but I still don't think it is, like, necessary at all.
This team has more fire types than the Sun team, for context.
That's actually good. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, you make a good point there.
And your Dragon Steel Fairy Core is, if you really want to count Tinkaton as just a Steel type, it's Carbink and Hydreigon.
I mean, Carbink pretty much just sets it, like, the Carbink set is pretty much screens, Iron Defense, Body First. With maybe a rock type.
Nice to set up rocks, but you don't have... If you set rocks, you can't court change them.
Right. So then it becomes of, okay, we're going to play a hazard game, and 9 times out of 10, if you're not running boots on nearly 90% of your team because of they're mostly fire types, you're losing that hazard fight.
And Gliscor can't run boots, so he's going to be taking that 12% every single time he switches in.
That is true.
Which is fine, because he's Gliscor, because he heals that back up with Poison Heal, but that means your first turn out, you're not getting any healing. That being said, I do love Chestnut. I think Chestnut's a very fun mon.
Especially as a Terra captain as well. I think you can do a lot as a Terra.
Yeah, I think Terra Water Chestnut's going to be really interesting to see.
That'll be fun to see, yeah.
But Moth is a weird mon, if you ask me. I was looking at Moth for almost this entire draft, and I ultimately moved against it because I think its cons outweigh its pros. Because if you don't A, kill, and B, get the boost on your first Fiery Dance, you're in a real bad position, because 9 times out of 10, you want to run Boost or Speed. And so, either A, you want to give it a free turn to Agility and run Boost or Special Attack, but since it can't Terra and you don't have screens reliably, I don't see how you're going to get Iron Moth that free turn to set up. Unless you want to run the coin.
And I believe, like, Iron Moth does get Energy Ball, I'm pretty sure, so at least it has some way to deal with the ground type, but, like, you know, you AV a ground type and just Earthquake anyway.
It also can't touch Heatran, like,
no, it
at
can't.
all.
Yep.
Any
other remarks, or...
I would just say one last thing, and that's Annihilate. Annihilate's a mon you have
very out of place
to prep for. But yeah, I was gonna say that Annihilate's a great mon, but without Terra, I don't really... Is it just a scale factor? Like, yeah, it's got Defiant, so fogging's gonna be a little bit trickier, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about this team. I think it's not very fast, but not very slow. I think it's pretty offensive, and its bulk is fine, but I don't know. I don't like the no hazards, but I don't hate.
Yeah, MurMur was a big fan.
But I don't hate the mons that I don't dislike. It's really weird, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Ace and Moth on the same team is good. Because if you have Ace or Moth out, you're going to bring in Gliscor or Hydreigon, and they'll both weak to ice. So a Mammoth Swine really messes up your team.
Other than that, we good to move on to our second last person.
I think Will has left us, so I am going to mute his mic so his TV starts coming through.
I was gonna say, Will, are you still alive?
I mean, it's like 5 in the morning for him, so
I feel bad if Will has said so much and like we just couldn't hear him.
They just passed out.
But yeah, so I have the prep for this first week, and it's been interesting. I won't say anything because I don't want to spoil the tech, but it's definitely been interesting. To prep, and I do like Crocodile is like a great terror option, but I feel like, you know, if you're gonna terror like both Crocodile and Carbing, if you terror that but you bought Chestnut, I feel like you're doing Chestnut a disservice.
I mean, I ran Chestnut without terror in UDSDL 3, and he was very good. But if I had the option to terror him, I would have been much happier. Let's just say that much.
Because I guess with like Carbing, I guess you Iron Defense Body Press, but you just go into a Ghost type at that point and just chip it down slowly. Or
Right.
Toxic it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on?
Yep, we'll move on now. So I was just seeing if Will would be alive. But our next person is, in fact, Douey, which I have their old logo on. My bad.
Oh, did they get a new one?
Yeah, they got a new one. And you'll see it in
Ooh,
the tier listing. It's like Dewey's Dragonites, which, funnily enough,
Oh, nice.
on their team they do have a
Yeah,
Dragonite,
sure.
but they have Urshifu Single, Golden Go, Ursaluna Blood Moon, Dondozo, Sylveon, Mesprit, Colossal, which is a Terra type of Fire, Ghost, Water. Sylveon's also a Terra type of Fire, Fairy, Steel. Dragonite, Sandslash, Alolan, and then Electrode, which is Terra, Ice, Electric, Fairy.
Oh, side note, I meant to say this about Brooks earlier. I love your logo, Brooks. I love the Alakits, the orange Islanders. Sorry, tangent. I just looked at it again to see Douey's new logo, and I love yours. I have not been able to see Douey's yet because it's not in the chat, so I'll see it soon.
I think my first two thoughts on this is, what is Sandslash A doing there? It seems so out of place.
Without he's on the team.
Why the hell is that there?
I'm gonna say this much. It's so both of his rapid spinners can be weak to rock.
And the second thing I want to say is, it's his speed tiers. It's probably the weirdest speed tiers I've seen. It goes 150, then drops to 97, and then goes 84, 80, 80, 65, 60, 52, 35, and 30.
I don't even think Electrode counts as a speed tier. I feel like he's a speed control at that point.
Yeah.
So that really leaves Urshifu as your fastest, and I'm like Scarf Urshifu's #1 fan, and it's a gimmick at best and lackluster at worst.
It just waits for a bulky fairy type to switch in to take its wicked blow,
Yeah.
and then just but I do like what this team can do. I always say that Ursula Blood Moon, those that draft Ursula Blood Moon and draft Trick Room are not doing it correctly. Ursula Blood Moon does not need Trick Room like Ursaluna does, which I love. That's why I like that Pokemon a lot.
That's why Blood Moon is banned. Oh, and Ursaluna's UU.
Yeah, so I also love Golden Go with the Urshifu. Could kind of handle that, like, you know, okay, Fairy type, switch into Golden Go. Sylveon with Fire is another really cool tech, considering it lost Mystical Fire, so I guess now it has a way to hit those Steel types, which is nice.
I didn't know it lost Mystical Fire. That sucks.
Yeah, it did, and it's the sadness. Also, Sylveon, great Wishmon, great Screenmon as well, but you're also using it to slap things up.
So, I think Golden Go is the biggest mistake of a Pokemon ever created. I think it is the most impressive mon of all time, and a standard play. I think it has the most bullshit ability, one of the best moves in the game in Make It Rain. And it has recovery, it can spread status, and it can just keep hazards up forever. I hate this Pokemon.
Yeah, weirdly enough.
That being said, I feel like it's not doing a whole lot for this team, other than being a Fairy Jet. Well,
it kind of like it stops hazards from being removed at least, but I also find Golden Go is like, though it can do all this stuff, it's still like, because it's such a slow mon, it's still very like dangerous of like, you know, getting either knocked off, flamethrowered, or earthquaked.
The reason why is his only hazard settles are Mesprit and then the two Spin Boys, who are Sandslash and
Colossal.
Colossal.
Which until
so you're not really playing the hazard game with him.
Yeah, and until Colossal Terrors, it's most likely going to run Boots because it does not want to come in on rocks.
Yeah. I think Dondozo's amazing.
Unaware Mon, we enjoy those. It's also thick as crap.
Yeah. Your only flying immunities are Dragonite, which you have to play like a queen in chess, otherwise you lose the game, and then Mesprit. Because Bulky Dragonite is a set, and it does do its job, but I feel like you're doing its disservice as the cleanup man. That being said, he can't Terra this season.
Yeah, so I feel like we're going to see a very big, like, defensive Dragonite set of, like, yeah, it can D-dance, but it's probably just going to sit on the field with Roost and all that. The downside to this team, though, is no Poison Mon, and I feel like Toxic Spikes are just kind of... I know it has 2 spinners, but, like, I still don't like Sandslash or Alolan in this team, because without Snow, what is it really going to do? Because it is so slow with 65 base speed that it's not going before you can even think of it doing something, it's going to get killed.
And like you brought up with Toxic Spikes, something like Ursaluna Ursaluna is a great example, does not want to come in Toxic because it can stall surprisingly long, and you'll be forcing rest out of Dondozo so much earlier due to it.
And I feel like the rest sleep talk Dondozo definitely is a way to go, but yeah, you are completely right. Like a lot of these Pokemon don't want to get poisoned. Urshifu also doesn't like it to get poisoned because now you're halving its longevity of Trailblaze Swords Dance.
And a lot of them tend to run Lorb too, so you're taking poison and chip. So
honestly, I do like its screen setters. I do love the Terras though. I think the Terras are quite nice. Colossal Terra is quite nice.
I have no complaints about the Terra.
I think the Terras is the highlight of this game. Which is it the first time we've said that tonight?
Terras, I have absolutely zero complaints about the Terras whatsoever. They're all great.
I feel like the biggest complaint from us has always been, where's your hazard removal?
Which is hard because Gen 9 got rid of it all, but
yeah.
I like Dragonite. Dragonite's one of my favorite Pokemon. As a kid, it was my second favorite. So I love the little dopey dragon, but this team is forcing him into being that defensive Pokemon, and I think that's cool that it can do that, but forcing it to be its main identity in this team is kind of a waste of 16 points.
I also think without a proper hazard removal that isn't Colossal and that isn't the 2 slowest Pokemon on the field, I think you're really forcing Dragonite to also run Boots, because if it comes in on a rock, it loses multi-scale. So I feel
like it also cuts its longevity that doesn't get leftovers.
Yeah, so I feel like it's really been shot in the foot because your 2 Spin Mons are base 65 and base 30, and that is super slow.
That being said, Dragonite does have one of my favorite sets of all time, which is Weakness Policy Dragon Dance Multiscale. But you really don't want to come into the rocks on that.
and that's definitely the issue. Does Steam Engine absorb water type moves, or does it still get hit by water type?
No, you still get hit by them. Have you? I could send you a really funny video of a guy trying to buff his. Let me just send it to you.
Send it to.
I know I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
And that's why I also like Colossal being that water type, because you're now kind of okay, either I'm forcing Terra or I'm going to do very little to it. So it's a little bit of a mind game there, but I feel like 9 times out of 10, you're either tearing your Electrode or you're tearing your Sylveon in my mind at least.
I feel like it's cool. I like Colossal's Terra types, but I just don't know when I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And that's not
Except maybe
great.
like if you do like a cheeky like Sea Mansion set with like I don't know, but yeah.
Here you go for later, Muffin. Here's your gift.
Thank you. But I definitely think the speed tiers are going to be like the downside to this team because now.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's kind of this. It's now this idea of very much okay. I don't need to run much speed. I can just run more bulk. And though there's so much like hard hitting things, if now your opponent doesn't have to worry about speed, okay, you can scarf them on, but it now has the defense to back up anything that you throw at it.
Like Wicked Blow hurts. Wicked Blow will never not hurt. But if I'm able to run more defenses, I might be able to live that hit and kill you. Because Urshifu, 100 HP and 100 defense isn't bad, but it's also not the picture of bulk.
I also feel this team is you're kind of forcing yourself to always bring Urshifu. Like, I just look at this team and I'm just like, okay, you don't bring Urshifu. Who are the 6 more? Like, you know what I mean? Like, not bringing Urshifu always makes this team feel a little bit empty.
I feel like if I was Douey in the situation, I would be like, I want Urshifu, I want Blind Boon. That's my physical attacker, my special attacker.
Yeah.
And then I have Dragonite and Dondozo as my walls, one of the Spinels, and then my Tailor Captain. That would be my team.
But that's the issue, like, cause like then you're kind of like, okay, he's probably definitely gonna bring Urshifu. I bring a bulky fairy type, and if he brings Ursaluna, okay, I bring something with Protect that can that's like AV. No, not AV. Silly Muffin. That has like special bulk to it, so it can take on, or even just a fast fighting type. That has like Aura Sphere.
Going back to the very first team, I think Muffin's Infernape has a great matchup to this team.
Oh yeah, Derpster's Infernape, like with the fact they can be physical or special. I think he's gonna.
The only things that stop it is Dragonite and Dondozo, which were big things to stop it, but.
And I guess, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is you Trick Room, but I always find that. And Aiger once explained this to me because I also was thinking of doing a Trick Room set. The issue with Trick Room is you Trick Room for 1 turn. That's still that moment you Trick Room and you switch. That's 1 turn gone. So you have 3 turns to try and do something. With Ursaluna, okay, you Blood Moon Day Protect. That's 2 turns. You get your Blood or you Calm Mind and get hit. You still have like you're kind of running out of turns. Like maybe you get max 1 to 2 kills, but now you're forced to switch.
Yeah, kind of going back to what I said about Dodrio and King Gambit, is Trick Room's at its best with a healing Wish mod. And let's say you have Hat or Cresselia, the 2 best healing Wish Trick Room settles. Okay, now you have to do it once. You get 1 big boom. I have sacked my Hatterene, brought my Ursaluna in, Trick Room is up. You better win in 3 turns, or you're down 2.
Yeah, rather than this, I Trick Room, now I have to switch, so I have to take a hit coming in. Now, okay, I'm not, like, basically half dead. Let's hope I can, let's hope I can try and take some stuff down before I die.
Yeah. As the person who loves Weather, I think Weather is amazing, and I think Trick Room is a trap.
I thought you were about to say it. I thought you were about to say it. Like, I love Weather, add some Weather to this.
No, because Weather doesn't work for this. But I put them like I think like Weather, Terrain, and like Trick Room are big, some different team core types. And I think Terrain and Weather work very well when supported. I think in draft specifically, Trick Room takes the opportunity cost is too high as the main focus of a team. I think it can be fun if you run it 1 week because you have mons that can take advantage of it. But making it your primary play-in, it's very predictable and able to play around.
I definitely agree. Did we have any other thoughts on this team?
Once again, get rid of the Sand Slash or draft like even like the Snowbird or something.
Yeah, just
like,
please get rid of Sand Slash. It sounds like you have a Steel Mon already. What is it doing? Like Ice Mon? Okay, well it's a terrible Ice Mon. It's too slow.
And not only is it a Steel Mon, it's Golden Go. Like it's one of the best.
Other than that, we'll move to our final person, And our final person is me. Yay! Yay!
Is that why you said had such a reaction to me saying this mon can't touch Heatran?
Yeah, I got heat. So look, I have my own video coming out in a couple hours breaking down my team. So I probably won't go through it as much, but a lot of my Pokemon I got in draft, and some of my Pokemon I swapped out during week 1, kind of like Mingo. Like I replaced my Ogerpon Water for Ogerpon Rock to grab Greninja. I don't know if you're gonna like my hazard removals because it's only Cramorant.
I'll get there. Don't worry. I'm not gonna be nicer because you're in call.
But my team consists of Landorus, Ogerpon Rock, Heatran, Goodra, which is Terra, Fighting, Fairy, Dragon, Screamtail, Greninja, Rotom Frost to shout out to Will because I've always seen him use this with Water, Ghost, and Electric. We have Spiritomb. We have my boy Cramorant, aka Get Crammed, with Terra, Water, Grass, and Ground. And then finally we have Okidogi.
Supposed to be a shiny.
I've never seen it shiny before.
Yeah, I decided to make it shiny because it's
I hate that so much.
I know, that's why I made it shiny because I was like, you know.
Do you want to go first, Tog, or should
I? You can go first.
Good lord.
I like Goodra a lot. It being able to Terra makes it so much better. It doesn't fix its overwhelming weakness of its stat allocation and its no healing, but I think that little Screamtail dude would definitely help it out. I'm surprised you went for Electric over Ice on the fridge.
Personally,
reliable Ice Stab is just such a good thing to have.
I just personally saw my weakness to like fighting was kind of becoming a problem, and I'm just like, I 9 times out of 10, if I'm going to use an ice move, I'm using Ice Beam with Greninja that turns into an ice type. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair.
To me, at least.
You have a fighting weakness. I think Okidogi helps it a good bit, and your immunity with Spiritomb is nice and Cram. But like Lando's resists it. Actually, it's not too bad. It's just Cornerstone, Greninja, and Heatran.
Which, because Greninja outspeeds 9 things out of 10, I can always change my typing to something that doesn't.
Yeah. Also, Ogerpon can get 1 hit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, then. It says Cramorant can defog.
Yes, it does. I did make sure it does. It definitely does get defog.
Okay, so. Okay.
I definitely made sure I checked that.
Okay, so that being said, that's your only hazard removal on this game.
That's all I need.
I'm noticing.
Get crammed.
That's all you need.
That's all I need. Cramorant for the win, boys.
Okay, but I know I don't want to. I probably should ask you this off, camera, but I'll still want to say it now, and I'll let you give me the actual answer later if you want. Are you comfortable bringing Cramorant for 10 weeks straight?
Oh, 100%. You crazy? My dude, I'm trying to get this thing as many kills as possible. My catchphrase for this season is going to be get crammed. Because I think it's even funnier if you lose to me and I bought a Cramorant and Cramorant actually got the most kills. I think that's even funnier. Why do you think that's also why it's my Terra Captain?
I mean, I love your first 3 mons, but that's biased because those are like 3 of my favorite Pokemon. Your speed is pretty good. You have a pretty deep drop from Lando to the fridge.
Yeah.
But your speed is like two groups. It's Greninja through Landy, and then Bridge through Heatran. So you have 2 like pretty big speed tiers, and then a gap between them, and then Spiritomb. I've never seen Spiritomb used. I know it's only weak to Fairy, which is nice. I just don't really know what it's doing here other than being a fighting unit.
So I've used Spiritomb in the BBR, which for those that don't know is one of the bigger draft leagues. I was fortunate enough to join one of their Summer Scramble, which unfortunately I did lose because of hacks and playing not as good. But regardless, Spiritomb was a Pokemon I drafted, and it pretty much just sat there. It just sat on the field to Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, Hex. It just gave me one of those Pokemon that just can kind of sit there. And just it kind of like how you said with Toxapex can like kind of stop the momentum a little bit. That's what Spiritomb can really do for this team. It's just kind of stop, take a moment, breathe. Okay, let's reevaluate. Let's go to this.
And you do have things like Foul Play and Will-O-Wisp and
Taunt as well.
Toxic Trick. I feel like for the point value, you bringing up it being a stop break, I think it's a really good value for it. Especially because you have a Wish Patrol. Wish Patrol.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah. I think that value is a little bit higher.
I'll say, yeah, Screamtail and Gouge are two of my favorite amounts of drafts so far that I've played.
And I really thought, because my original team I drafted was absolute shocking. It was bad. And then going into Grace, I fixed it up a little bit, but it was still very much lacking.
Can I ask?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I banished that to the Shadow Realm because I was so embarrassed by it. But I can
go through messages and find them if I have to.
I can quickly tell you what I dropped originally, in Grace at least. If I can just find where I did it, because there's a this is why I don't like Shadow in the. So I dropped Arcanine H, Sizzle, Umbreon, Rotom, Slacking, Ice Cube. And I end up...
That's half your team. I like this a lot more than that.
Yeah, and then in Grace, I ended up picking up Heatran, Zoroark, H, Rotom Frost, Morpeko, and then Cramorant. And then week 1, I dropped Rotom H and Morpeko for... Yes, I dropped those two. Then I picked up what I have now. Oh, and Ogerpon Water. Sorry, I forgot to add the Ogerpon Water. But I ended up dropping the Ogerpon Water and then to grab Ogerpon Rock because I've been using it in another league and I love that Pokemon. It's so fun to use.
I like Ogerpon Rock too. I have it in PPDL.
With Sturdy, it's basically like either you set up hazards or I'm getting a free Source Dance off.
And it's only to be annoying with it.
And 100% accurate Stone Edge, it's never a bad thing.
Yeah, what's the only Rock type move that actually won't miss? Shout out to Ogerpon.
And I mean, Heatran is Heatran. Heatran to me is kind of like Treads, where I'm never like, damn it, my Steel type's Heatran? Man, that sucks.
I ran it in the PDL last season. Heatran was incredible for me.
Well, Heatran for me, I used it a lot in my CDL league for Gen 7, which, funny enough, out of, I think 10...
I had it in your CDL league for Gen 7.
Yeah, out of 10, funny enough, by the way, in Gen 7, it actually it can't use Flame Body because of reasons. But funnily enough, out of 10 weeks, I bought, I think, Heatran about 8 of them, and about 7 of them I ran Scarf Heatran. It was hilarious. No one picked it up.
Scarf Heatran's so much fun.
Scarf, you think you're prepared for Scarf Heatran until you face it down and you get hit with an eruption, and you're just like, well done.
Yeah, you're always like, oh, Scarf Heatran, I'll be fine. Ah!
I guess I wasn't fine. Please send help.
Where's my fire immunity?
So it's why I absolutely love using Heatran, and then I've used Greninja before, and it's a nice pivot mon with U-turn. Like I have nice pivots. Everything's like, it's a nice team. I don't think it's the best team on in this div, but I think it's definitely a nice team.
I mean,
Greninja's really nice. It's also pivot. It could also be a sweeper with Battle Bond too.
Yes. Yeah, like I was gonna bring up. You keep talking about Protean, and I don't know if that's like mind games, but Battle Bond Greninja is just so fun.
No, I just keep forgetting we allowed Battle Bond. That's literally it. I can't just
call it shit. Like when I said it was nerfed, like said Battle Bond was friggin' dead. No,
yeah.
I had to argue it's better.
The thing with Battle, I'd say it's stronger but less versatile. So pick your poison.
Yeah, I agree. It's stronger boost, but you can only get them once.
It'll definitely come in handy with some teams rather than others. That's how I look at it.
And I'll say this on Lando I. It's not very creative. It's not very. You're never gonna be like, oh wow. But then you see Lando I, it's gonna kill you, and you're gonna be sad.
Oh, granted, even with Lando T, most people run physical sets. I've ran special Lando T before, so I feel like I can do.
The big thing with Lando is that people with I they expect special and T they expect physical, but both of them have decent physical and special attack.
Well, technically, I has better attack than special attack, which is hilarious because it's 125 attack, 115 special attack. A lot of people
forget that sheer force boost.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of people just kind of forget that that I can you can run it both ways.
Well, I is still Lando. At the end of the day, the reason why Lando's fucking amazing, but you can run it without investment in its offensive stats, and it still hits like a building.
Oh yeah. Sheer Force Life Orb is just a fucking drug. I swear.
Like, you could run Sheer Force Life Orb, max special defense, and max HP, live at Ice Beam, and kill something in return. Like...
Also, 101 speed, outspeeds Chi-Yu. Screw the fish.
Screw the fish.
Screw the fish. Fish is... no.
But yeah,
sucks.
I think that would be my only downside, would be just got that the gaps I have in my speed tier, but I guess it'd just be about looking at my opponent, seeing their speed tier, and then really considering, okay, do I really need this thing to be like max speed? Probably not. I can probably give it like...
play around week by week.
Like, your speed isn't great, but I think because your speed is in 2 groups, it's not as bad. Because you're able to be like, okay, I can make these mons bulkier and these mons faster, and you have that speed control, but then you can put some extra HP in your Okidogi because he doesn't need to be that fast, and the 80 works.
I also feel like with this... Oh, sorry, you go, Mackie.
I was just going to say, with you who has Okidogi and who has Pheasantipity, I'm looking at you both intensely because I have not seen anybody use the Lawyer 3 yet, and I want to see what hijinks Toxic Chain can get up to.
Well, I'm also drafted because of Guard Dog.
I also drafted Okidogi. Like, you know what, Muffin? We'll both have fun with it.
Yeah, well, Guard Dog...
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Guard Dog is an ability that if you intimidate me, I get +1 attack raise, as well as I can't be switched out. Like, so I'm pretty sure that means Raw, Whirlwind, Red Card. None of that affects Okidogi with Guard Dog, meaning I can freely set up...
Sure you can't be phased, yeah.
Yeah, meaning I can pretty much just set up and not be scared of, oh no, they're gonna, like, there's gonna be some cool tech of, like, Red Card or something. I can pretty much, like, safely know I'm, like, kind of good in that sense.
Being said, Sneasel has shown how good and bad that poison fighting typing is.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Toxic Trope's been doing it since 2008. But Sneasel being good really put it on display.
And that's why I think Okidogi needs something good, like, to handle its weaknesses, you know? Like, it needs a good Dark type to handle any Psychic. It needs something to help with its Fairy. Like, though it's, like, neutral damage Fairy, it still doesn't really want to take a Moonblast with its special defense, so...
I like that you have...
So, like, any random Psychic comes will just end it. Any random Psychic comes will just end it on the spot.
Yeah, because Greninja isn't very bulky, but it can at least be a Psychic immunity, and I am really happy that you have... actually, the more I look at Spiritomb, I think it's one of the best mons you could have drafted for this team.
100.
I opened up with, what is Spiritomb doing here? And the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, bro, Spiritomb can switch in here. Spiritomb can switch in here.
Well, it was between...
This mon's protected by Spiritomb. Like,
it was between Spiritomb and Sableye, and I know everyone loves Sableye, but I don't like it. I don't like using Sableye. I don't personally, I don't rate it when I use it, at least, because probably I'm not using correctly, whereas at least with Spiritomb, I love my bulky offensive Pokemon, so, and that's what Spiritomb gives me. It gives me some bulk, and it gives me some offense, because 92 in attack and special attack isn't bad. Like, that's... I
think Sableye's the better mon in general, because you have that priority recovery.
Yeah, which is fair enough. I do understand that, but...
It's also one of the few ghost types that get reliable recovery. That also is a huge thing. But no, I like your team. I do have to give you a hard time for the rock, stealth rock. Your Crobat has to run boots, otherwise Lando's taking damage, Heatran's taking damage, and Rotom Frost taking damage. And stuff like Greninja and Ogerpon like to switch around a lot, and Ogerpon does not want to get Hall's fake sash broken all year.
Yeah.
Greninja doesn't want to get his real sash breaking all year.
That's definitely fair, but I feel like wasting a turn to set up Hazard against this team could turn the tide against you, because at least with the offensive pressure I bring, like, definitely setting up rocks against me will be fantastic, but do note that if you do, you're giving me a chance to either switch into something that will hit anything on the field hard, or I'm just going to murder you.
I feel like, let's say there's an example, right? Let's say Lando I got a kill earlier, and Lando I was in a bad position and took damage, right? You send your Scream Tail to Wish, and I get rocks up on your Wish. That's a scenario that you get caught in a bad situation, or a bad read with scoffing your Heatran and forcing it to switch out. That could be free rocks. Spiritomb is out and you want to move around, or a failed Will-O-Wisp. Probably that's a situation for rocks.
Probably the only counter would be if you're Roxy against Scream Tail, get Encore. Like,
yeah, I feel like getting rocks, you keeping rocks off as a player is going to come down to you being in the player's head.
Yeah.
Because your team has a lot of opportunities to stumble and let hazards get up. Because if poison, toxic spikes get up, Okidoki's got to come in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Ogerpon is not going to be happy, let alone Screamtail, Goodra, and disable that.
Grant, I always do think like with the whole getting into player's head, a lot of people underestimate what I can do and how what I cook. Because I'm the type of player also that I will gladly sacrifice a Pokemon if I can see an end game with something else. Like, you know, we talk about like, oh, don't let Ogerpon gain, you know, breaking its 30. It breaks its 30. I'd still like, if it's against a Pokemon that has to switch out, it still gives me a chance to Trailblaze and then maybe get some big chip off in a sense. So, like, I do definitely think like having like rocks chipping down is not a good thing, but it'll just come down to can I manage how much I'm taking with chip as well as what do I need in the end game and what is my end game.
I can agree to that. I think you have some great Skullfuls. You have some pretty decent, pretty good wall. Now that I look at it, your Hazard's not great, and you have some nukes. So I think all in all, it's a solid team with some
well balanced team. Yeah.
I think we just get Skulled. I don't know if does it still get Skulled? Maybe I'm thinking of that. Maybe I'm thinking of that decks again. Did
Cram?
Because Cram doesn't need Scald. It needs Surf, so I can
Oh, you mean
throw.
Ninja?
Yeah. Oh no, I meant Goodra.
I does not have Scald. I don't think.
Damn. But yeah, Cramorant.
It does have knockoff though, which is gonna. Oh, it does have Scald. It's Scald and knockoff.
Yep. That's what I thought. I thought he got Scald. By the way, Cramorant about to deep throw a Pikachu. Watch out.
It would have costed you nothing to not say that.
I know, but like, you know what? Chaos. So that would be.
If you're at this point in the video, then you've had the insanity.
Luckily there'll be. I'll make sure there's timestamps so people can skip around. But I think this is time to tier.
Do you mind if we take like a 1 minute break and get some water?
Go get some water. I'll start setting up the tiering. We're still gonna be at this. You know, we're gonna have a little intermission. Remember, if you're 2 hours into this, God help you, you have too much time. Go touch some grass afterwards. But also, we're sponsored by water. Stay hydrated. Stay amazing. It's great for your skin.
Stay hydrated. Yep.
You're looking beautiful.
Hydrate so you don't dehydrate, as we say.
That's so
or
true.
As I say, at least.
As I quickly just switch things around. There we go. You should be able to see the tiering screen now, hopefully.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah, so instead of doing the point system, I like, this is definitely taking from like Pokemon and all that. I prefer the tier system because sometimes with the point system, you look at a team, you're like, this is both in like 5th place and 4th place, but I gotta pick one. And then it comes down to like, oh no, am I gonna be stupid with my knowledge? Whereas at least with tiers, it's kind of like, yeah, look, it's in general a B tier. Like, you know, it's a high B or a low B.
I have returned. So, Mr. Muffin,
Hi.
will there be ranking within the tiers, or will it be every B tier is treated equally?
No, we're ranking within the tier. So, like, you know, do you mind if I start it off? Aiger's in S tier.
Yeah, I think Aiger is the best team in this division, by far, and I don't even think in comparison to this division he's S tier. I think as a team, as a whole, it's very good.
My man can run through the final. I think my man could, like, if my man makes it to the finals against Zom, he can definitely win with that team. 100%.
Hey, my horse is still pesky. We got that Brizion pride.
Yeah, but against Aiger, got nothing.
No, this team is great. We've already touched on how his entire team can pivot, which is amazing. He's one of the few teams with reliable hazard control. I guess it's not really, just defog, and Tisserate. Which, hell, that's more than some teams. But I really think that's the only thing I have an issue with. I like so much of these mons. We talked about his Terra earlier. I have nothing bad to say about this team. Except for, I wish he could get rid of rocks a little bit easier. But even then, nothing on his team really cares except for, like, bundle.
Also, added bonus, man's good looking. So, you know what? He has everything. Best team, good looking, great battler.
Great logo, like...
Great logo. What can he not do?
He's literally him.
He is him. Like, he's the pride and joy of Keldeo.
I think we can just start with Ditto and then go to you then as we go out.
Yep. So Ditto's team. Do you remember Ditto's team? Like this is where like you might.
I opened up my stuff.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. This was this was this team. This was the Alola team.
Would it be a? I don't think it's A. It could be an A, but I don't think it is A.
I don't think it's A either. I think we could put it in B.
Yeah, I think it's a solid B.
I think B.
Like as we move, I was gonna say as we move people, like if there's more B's, we can then be like, this is a high B, this is a low B. But I definitely think it's a solid start with a B.
Terra's Lucario's good. We're gonna have to see what Golem Alola does in practice, because on paper it's curious. Mulgrim I feel like is a dead slot. And I feel like Leaves is going to be very predictable. Other than that, I feel like his first 5 months are pretty good. But I feel like you're going to be bringing
those... Port, too. Phenomenal Steel Dragon Fairy.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to bring your Core, Wash, and Volcarona most times, and then the Scrimblow of the week.
Up next is Douey, and this is probably really small, but this is Dewey's logo. It has a little Dragonite in the...
Oh, nice. That's cute.
Where would you put Dewey's team?
Not high.
I want to. Do I say high B? But we're gonna get a lot of B's, and we're gonna have to like switch. I
want to say like mid low B.
I was gonna say high C, because I can't overlook the hazard control of Colossal and Sand Slash, and the giant speed gap between Electrode and Shifu.
I always forget the speed gap.
And
that's true as well.
I went on my whole little thing about Dragonite earlier. I don't like that Dragonite is this team's defensive backbone. It's Dragonite, let the man sweep.
And I feel like 9 times out of 10, if you're not bringing your Urshifu onto the battle, you're now even slower than ever before, I think. And that, like, you're pretty much like, okay, he's probably always going to do it. And if he doesn't, that's more benefit for you, because now everything's even slower.
It's also his hardest hitter. Like, him not bringing Shifu is a huge downside.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I think when saying that, it definitely is a C. Now we have Derpster, D. Next.
Yep. Next.
I'm kidding. Derpster's team. So, I want to say A.
I think it's a high B, low A.
It's definitely not S
tier. High B, low A. Yeah, absolutely.
I think we put in B for now and see if we get any A's. If we don't get any A's, we can put it A.
Yeah.
I think
Will brought this up earlier, but like the lack of Terra Belly Bolt, I don't agree with. I think that. I know Will said this earlier.
I know why Titan got Terra, because you have the Glow King. I just feel like Darkrai was a huge sunk cost, and we'll see if it plays off.
I also just think it's really weird. Like, you have Titan, you have a way to get up Snow, but nothing else benefits from it. It's only Titan, and I think like realizing that now, that is a little bit of a downside. That you only have one Pokemon to actually benefit from Snow. Other than that, it's just I guess it's just pivoting.
I guess. His only hazard control is Cyclizar and Klefki, which aren't bad months. Klefki has a lot of utility, and Cyclizar is 20 at home. But, man, I really wish it was something a little bit more bite. Because Klefki's passive can be, and Cyclizar isn't the most sturdy mon.
And doesn't have Shed Tail, does it?
No, it doesn't.
And to me, that kind of lowers it a little bit, because, like, without Shed Tail, you know... I mean, it still does a lot, but like it does like its Shed Tail. Up next we have Vortex's team.
This team. Shreds is great. I think this is a
C.
C.
Because like, is it better than Douey's, or is it not better than? I think that will be the next question. Is it better? Because it's Terra Captains. I think comparing the two Terra Captains, I think Douey still has the better Terra Captains.
Douey's Terra Captains aren't on the doc you sent me. What are they?
Oh, let me quickly. Because I'm now looking. I just realized I'm now looking. It's Sylveon, Colossal, and Electrode.
And this was Vortex's team.
Yeah, Vortex's has.
I think Douey's team's better. Honestly,
better,
the more I look at this team, I don't know if C is right.
I'm thinking D.
I'm thinking D.
D? Oh.
There's so much about this team I would rip apart, and if I put it back together, I don't think it's the same team.
Not gonna lie, you have 5 trades. I think you definitely get rid of Chi-Yu. and then use those points to maybe get rid of maybe 2 more Pokemon, add some better have some better bulk, for example, add the Tauros Blaze. I think doing that puts you automatically to a high C, low B. I think doing that whamps you up.
I think definitely let Noivern Terra. I feel like it's a huge waste to not let him Terra. That or God.
Yeah, I agree.
I look at this team, and this is what I think. Ooh, I'm picking. Ooh, Palafin's a good mon. I'll pick Palafin. Ooh, Chiyu's a good mon. I'll pick Chiyu. I should get Terra Jolteon round 3. It's like Regieleki. That's the mindset I have. It's very just, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Not, okay, here's the plan.
See, I think if they Terra Gardevoir, that could be absolute goated, because Gardevoir then can just be, you can make it a bulky Terra, thus you have a Wish Passer that's more reliable and not going to get slapped. Which could be a very goated type of idea. Instead of going offensive Terra, go defensive and actually allow you to Wish.
I think if you do, still take Terra Fairy, and you kind of get like a Mega Gardevoir at home.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Who's Kyoto?
Next team is the Spectre team.
Oh, that's what we're doing. Oh, is that which person is that?
Aryan, I believe.
Oh, Aryan.
Aryan.
Aryan, yeah.
Oh, this, yeah. I think Vortex
D.
is a friend. Yeah, I think this is lower than Vortex. I think this is
not go above D.
I think I would rather have Vortex's team than this team.
So we're saying a very low D?
Yeah. I think Tauros Blaze can fix that team to like a high C. A low C. I don't think one Mon, unless that Mon was Ninetales. I think if you gave this Mon a Ninetales, Alola, it would raise up. But
in reality, I feel like you use 4 your Terras, 4 your trades at this point for their team. I think you get rid of 4 Pokemon and you make it, and then add Ninetales and add 3 better Pokemon. Absolutely different team.
Alone, I think we'll make it a low B. I'll say that.
I feel like you get a low Ninetales, get rid of the Dracolock, and get rid of the Gyarados, you'll be in a much better place.
Oh, that'd definitely be like a B at that point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's the issue is that's a different team than we have here.
Yeah, so I think that is fair.
Stand.
So I'm gonna say something very controversial right now. Mingo's team S. I think it's a low S. That's very controversial, but I think
Mingo.
I think Mingo's team with the Chien-Pao, Tornadus, and
I think it's an A. I do not agree with S.
I think it's a low S.
I don't think it's on the same tier as Aiger.
I don't think
Aiger's a hot.
I disagree.
I don't think it is on the same tier as Aiger's either. But I don't think it is on the. I think it's still a team that is probably going to win 9 times out of 10, unless you're facing Aiger, which is the one.
I say we put an A because there's no A's right now, and I still feel like if we get more A's and we feel like this team is
we can
better,
put it back up later.
Yeah.
But yeah, just fill out the A's for right now. I agree with that.
Because I do like his core. I love his first 5 Mons, and I think I said about Pheasant Dipping earlier. I want to see what this Loyal 3 can do. Avalokasui is a great physical wall. Ryan Lechu kind of has a dead ability here, which isn't great. But Bamboo Bastard is always good.
I mean, also Avalok Terra is just goated when like you have Terra.
It's not Terra.
Is it not his Terra?
Also, Appleton.
Not on this doc you gave me.
Avalok is not.
Let me quickly double check something. Did I screw something up?
You gave me Pheasantipity, Raichu, Alola, and then Dunsparce.
Yeah.
Oh, Pheasantipity definitely should not be Terra. It is Avalok that's Terra, because it's rock fighting water is Avalok. Lol, my bad.
Okay, I still think it's A, but that does make it better.
Okay.
Next is Loyals. Big boy Bandito.
I don't see this team higher than C. I might even put it in D. I dislike this team.
I don't think it's a D. I can't.
I think it's better than Douey's. I think it's better than Douey's.
I think it's a D.
Yeah.
I will say C.
I know he's a good player, and I know he can draft well. If you were to show me this team, I wouldn't, no way in a million years say this is Bandito's team. I just don't like it.
I like.
Oh, we have a special guest from Record Man. Hello.
You haven't heard me this whole time?
No, I have everyone
like 10 minutes ago.
I have everyone like higher up in their volume to make sure it picks up on OBS. So.
Ah, dang.
Next is MurMur's team, which is the
Mackie, I
Garchomp.
love you.
I like this team. I think this team is an A.
Eh?
Yeah.
See, now I look at this team and I look at Mingo's team. I don't know, to me. They like...
No, I think they're pretty similar. Personally.
Maybe, okay, maybe I'm taking too much as, like, I know Mingo is a bad lot, so I'm probably gonna
I know neither of these people. I know neither of these people.
I think that's my issue. I know them as bad lists, so I'm just like, oh. But I feel like, because he's probably listening to this now being like, what is this? I feel like taking it by team-wise and not by how the person plays, I can definitely see it being either low S or high A. But I'm happy to leave it in A. Look at this.
I don't know him personally, and going off the team, I think him and Momo's teams are almost identical in value tonight. I think both of them have a chance of winning it all, but I feel like Aiger's has a stranglehold on the entire division.
I agree.
Gosh damn you, Aiger. How dare you? It's a stupid Marrow.
How dare you be good, Aiger? How dare you?
I kept telling people to draft Diglett to rival Marrow, but no one did it. No one drafted Diglett.
I can't believe that.
Next up is Brooks, the Sun team, non-Sun team, the weird Sun.
I think it's C.
I was gonna go low B.
Really?
I feel like
B.
It's only hazard control is foot.
I feel like, but moving past hazard control, because I feel like also, like, hazards are very important in the game, but, like, we also gotta remember, like, PokeAim did go through an entire season of draft with no hazard control at all, and I think won it. Or
I think
got
that's
close.
a terrible argument. This good player did something. PokeAim did this. I can do it too. Are you PokeAim?
No,
you're not.
No, but no,
So...
but the argument isn't where PokeAim. My argument is the fact that if he has shown a way to do it, that doesn't stop anyone else from like saying, okay, because this good player did it, none of us can do it. That's a little bit silly, you know. Just because
I don't. That's not my argument. I'm saying is just because PokeAim shown it can be done doesn't mean that should be. Oh,
no, I'm not saying. I'm not saying it's the norm. I'm just saying that hazard isn't like, oh no hazards, straight to C, you know. I'm saying, okay, no hazards, now it's going to take a little bit more skill. What can they do? What the Pokemon do they have? And I think the team they have, even without the hazard removal, the good hazard removal, I still think it's a low B. I don't think it's a C. Like, looking at the
really needs to come in fresh, otherwise it can't sweep. It's only Sun Abusers or Wake and Victory Bell and Health Flame. I like Valiant, but I feel like like I said earlier, Doug Trio is an answer to a self-caused solution, a self-caused problem. And Earthworm does not want to be here. Man's gonna get roasted.
But I feel like looking at Bandito's team and Douey's team, I still think it's still on above.
In comparison, I will agree with you that I think their teams are worse, so we can keep them in B.
That's why I definitely agree with, like, hazard is important. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like even just like one hazard removal is still better than nothing unless you are a really good player.
You know what? I'll give you that. Those teams that bought nothing, at least he has the foot.
Yeah, like I feel like I misconstrued my point of, like, I'm not saying, hey, PokeAim did it. That means any player can do it. Definitely not. My man's a madman for doing that. But I feel like, you know, at least having one, even if it's kind of a shittier one, it can still it's still there and it can still be played around with.
Yeah, I agree with you. I might have gotten a little heated too. I just hate the argument of, oh, this person can do it. That means I can do it. I feel like that's a fallacy.
Look, the only person that can probably do it is Aiger. Let's be honest here. Man's a goat. He doesn't care about hazard.
Man's a goat.
I can see Aiger pulling it off. Sure.
Next up is Ninji's team, which is the Sun non-Sun team. It's really weird. We have a Sun team that doesn't abuse Sun as much, and then we have a non-Sun team that would love Sun.
This team has no hazard control.
I vote C.
Or just has Centaurus. I think C. I think it's
mid C, low C.
I think Douey's is better than. I think it's mid. I think Douey's is top, and I think Bandito's is last.
Oh.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
Do I don't know if I agree with that, just because of like the. I think Bandito at least has a better. I think Bandito has a better team though.
I think switch Bandito in Ninja at least.
Why are you hating on Bandito like this?
Even against Douey's team, I still think Bandito at least has.
Yeah, no, I think Ninja's is worse than Bandito's.
I still think it's Douey versus Bandito. I think Bandito might have a slightly better team.
Yeah.
I still think Bandito should be high.
I really don't like Douey's team. Yeah, okay, put Bandito back.
by the way, these are not content on the person themselves. It's just your teams and what you cooked. Some people burn the kitchen down. Others, like Aiger, made a 4-course meal and Gordon Ramsay approved.
I know 3 of you in this division. It's not personal.
I don't want to say where I would be because either I'm gonna like look very arrogant or I'm not gonna.
Right, your team. What's your team, boy?
What's your team? Because I feel like you know what? What's your team before I tell you where I think you should go?
A low A, high B.
I'd put you in B.
High B.
I think yeah. I think you're the best A team, best B team. I think Cram is not great, but I feel like everything else about your team, and even Cram, makes it work.
Let's go, Cram.
I think Spiritomb is my favorite low point drafted mon for a team in this entire division.
Just wait till you see what it can do.
I don't think there's a 4-point mon that adds as much to a team as Spiritomb does for yours.
Now, question: would we
main on the dock?
Would we? Recommend you're looking. Yeah, if you're looking at the dock, it's where I'm using my week 2 onwards team. I'm not using my. We're not ranking my week 1 because there's no point. I have it for a single week. It's a bit.
I was looking on the dock.
Would we change anyone? Like move anyone up, move anyone down?
I'm pretty happy with this. I think Aiger is the king, and I feel like everybody else is pretty happy.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate here.
I think that any team can raise up with trades, and I think player skill is a factor. Just because your team is great or bad on paper doesn't mean it's going to work in practice.
Oh, yeah, no, please prove us wrong. If you, please, come out here and be like, you know what, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm gonna sweep 6-0 every single week. Just don't do it against me, please.
We will let it, but we're wrong if you prove us wrong.
I'd love to be wrong.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think with trades, I mean, that's what Mingo and I did at least with our trades, because I think before our trades, at least our teams definitely weren't as good. I mean, my team before trades would have definitely been a D tier or a low C tier. Trades definitely do matter a lot, and I think they can definitely make the difference between, oh my goodness, this slaps, or oh my goodness, get out of the kitchen. But with that, that comes to the end of the team builder. A nice solid team builder team ranking analysis. 2 hours and 30 minutes of this. We've done well. 2
hours of what?
I think that we didn't yell at each other as much as we could have.
No, but we only yelled at each other until I said that Pokemon thing. That was the only yelling that we. That was the only, and that was just miscommunication.
Yeah.
Keldeo, you guys are the absolute goats. You're as impatient as a baby, but I'm excited to see you guys, what you guys can cook with your teams. As you can saw from myself and the other mods, a lot of you guys have cooked. We're all very excited to see what you guys can do. Thank you, Mackie, Will, who unfortunately Mike died, but he was still here in spirit and in the call. That one guy, and Recordman as a late arrival. Thank you all for being here for the Keldeo Power Rankings. I do very much appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for having me. Anytime, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
And my final thing is, because I technically am hosting this, and this is on the CDC channel. If you want to see a deeper breakdown of my team, shout out to my channel, Munted Muffin. We're close to 500 subs.
What?
Hey, how you doing?
Link's gonna be in the description.
In the description, maybe go give a sub. I will be posting every battle, every loss that I will eventually take, all the way to week 9 where I versus Aiger, and I quit. Other than that, do you guys have any other closing remarks?
No, and I know I did go a little hard into some of the teams. Like Muffin said, nothing was said about players. That was strictly what's on paper. I'm excited to see what you guys will do in the second season of the CDO.
Like,
oh yeah, bad team can be used. Even if bad teams are objectively bad, doesn't mean the players bad. So, anyone can absolutely do great here.
It was no personal attacks. At the end of the day, it's all our opinions. Will is stinky, and I think that's a great way to end it. Bye, guys.
I think so too.
Enjoy the rest of the PRSs whenever they get done. Bye.